Hold on. I was on the phone with a friend of mine and I was walking. I think that light is gonna bother me too. Hold on. How does that look? Oh, that's fine. Perfect. We're good. We're good. How y'all doing? Sorry about that. I was on the phone with a friend of mine. I was literally like an hour ago about to start streaming, and how you doing, Black Hole? Right when I was about to hit like one or two things before I hit go live, good friend of mine called me, and so I was talking with her, and I turned the fan on, and as soon as I hopped off, I said, "Let me get on here and talk to the people." D Skizzle, what up? What up? Alfonso, how you doing? Hey, we're all amazing, D Skizzle. Thank you. We're all amazing. Straight arrow, abundance and love. Exactly. We got to keep talking about these things, ladies and gentlemen, so we don't forget them. And the more we talk about them, little Spence, what up? The more we talk about them, the more other people hear about them, and the better the world can get. Simple things like the more people believe in abundance, the better the world gets. The more abundance people start to tap into, the more people believe in love. Because that's one of the things these days. I feel like a lot of people aren't feeling the love, and I get it. Detox and Hamster. How you doing? That's the interesting name. How you doing? I feel like a lot of people just feeling down and they're not feeling the love, and understandably, because if everybody around you talks about how little love there is left in the world, how you doing, Karen? You're not gonna feel the love, and I think that's why it falls to us who understand, who get it, who feel the love, who see the love, who see the abundance. We gotta keep talking about it. And I know people think we're crazy, and people laugh at us, and people don't get it, but some of those people eventually get it. Some of those people come around, and even if one person goes from living a scarce, sad, lonely, loveless existence, and by tapping into some of the things we talk about, they turn that around. I'm happy with that. Now it's definitely more than one person, but let's go. Tyrone, how you doing? Good to see you. Winter hike. Hello. How y'all doing on this Friday? It is Friday. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I posted a short earlier talking about how I didn't know what day of the week it was, and how freeing that feels for it not to, matter what day of the week it is. And I honestly did not know what day of the week it was, but I thought it was Thursday. Like I had no clue what day of the week it was. But if you pressed me, I would have been like, I think it's Thursday. So when I finally looked at my phone and saw it was Friday, I was like, no. I'm like, no, it is not. I knew it wasn't Friday. I'm like, how is it already Friday, bro? Like, that's crazy. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to live stream tonight, So, yeah, that was funny. Yeah, I'm like, what? Yeah, I genuinely, if you told me it was Wednesday, I'd have believed that more than Friday, probably. Be amazing, be unstoppable. Let's go, fanatics. D Skizzle, glad you like the retirement rant. Yeah, we gotta reframe this whole retirement thing, though. Or honestly, I think it's starting to reframe itself, which is good. Albuquerque in the building, the 505. What up, Rick? Abundance and contagious. Yes. Oh, you heading to volleyball later? Okay. Nothing wrong with that. A little New Mexico volleyball league. Okay. I don't know. I just be saying this stuff. It's a day filled with love. Awesome, golden, awesome. Detox said, love your videos. About to make Korean soup for dinner. Okay. What goes in Korean soup that makes it unique? Curious. I like to know these things. Yeah, man. I keep a jug. Wait. Hold on. I keep water on deck, is what I'm saying. I keep agua on deck, until I get so used to having it that I'll forget to buy it. Because I'm like, oh, I got 3 jugs, and then I'll come home and there's nothing. Like those nights were like, especially when I didn't have a car, and like I would have like this much water left, and I didn't want to like Uber Eats 6 gallons of water, and I didn't want to walk to the store. Those were some parched nights. But typically, I keep water on deck. Derek checking in, Nika. Yeah, when you quit your job, Claire, you don't know. That's the beauty of it. Wake up when you want to wake up. Don't know what day it is. Don't have to shower if you don't want to. Low key, low key. Which I still shower, but like I used to shower in the morning, and then I would shower when I got home from work. So I would used to like typically I shower twice a day. I don't do that anymore. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Exactly, Alfonso. Just transition to your coaching ministry. And then that's something you're not going to want to retire from. And that's something that if you ever need a break from, you just take a break from it. You're in control. Nika, enjoy that workout. Hello. Queen, what up? Oh, so you put chili pepper powder, silken tofu, garlic, soy sauce, kimchi. Okay, okay, okay. Retired 2019. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for the support, my friend. Thank you for the support. I don't know if I said that last time, but thank you. I saw it when I got off the app. So when I got off the stream. So thank you. John, my top 3 favorite foods. I don't do favorites, but I eat a lot of steak. I eat a lot of chicken wings, and I eat a lot of deviled egg potato salad, and a lot of rice. I went today. Today, this is how much I eat pretty much the same foods. So today for lunch, I called the Chinese place, and when I placed my order, she said, "I know who you are." She was like, "You order the same thing every time." I said, "Yep, it's me. They know me. Tell you, I tell you." So yeah, I eat pretty much. I find foods I like, and I just eat them over and over again. Tyrone said, "I work outside all day. Had to include Flash IV and Pedialyte to my drink mix." Yeah, man. Years ago, I discovered Pedialyte. Down there to the Walmart, they think I got kids because I'll be putting, they think I got an infant at the house because I'll put a couple bottles of Pedialyte on the belt and buy it. Actually, I discovered Pedialyte when I used to drink, and somebody told me, was like, "Hey, if you get really dehydrated, drink Pedialyte." But still, sometimes now, if I feel like I'm a little dry, I'll drink some Pedialyte. I ain't mad at that. Getting more electrolytes. Portland's where young people go to retire. Portland. Okay, cool, cool. Detox. The air quality actually got better today. It got a little better yesterday. And so that's why I was out, did a video. But even then, like, because I was out for a couple hours probably, trying to get the video shot and doing some hiking, some walking around. And I could kind of taste the smoke and ash in my mouth by the time I took it in. So the air quality was better yesterday, but you still had, the ash and just that whatever in the air. Today it was a lot better. Like we actually had blue skies today and it rained last night. So yeah, the air quality is much better. Much better. Much better. Yeah, Rick, live life to the fullest. And once again, yeah, like you said, once you figure out the system's rigged, like you don't have to play by those rules anymore. Before that you play by those rules because you think they're right. And you think like, oh, if I play by these rules, I'm doing the right thing. But like once you realize those rules aren't put in place for you don't have to play by them. Follow the law, break the rules. Let's go. Juanita, how you doing? Detox, I'm in Montana right now. Chemtrails? Nah, it wasn't no chemtrails. Nah, it was smoke from the wildfires. You could, if there were chemtrails, you couldn't see them. Like it was smoke from the wildfires. Nah, it wasn't chemtrails. How long do I take a break between jobs? It just depends. I don't really have a set period. The only time I have a set period between jobs is if I get another job before I leave the last job, and like I know when the next one starts. Other than that, I just kind of like I was like I'm definitely taking August off. When I quit my last job, I was like I'm taking August off. After that, like I'm in no hurry to go back to work. And honestly, I hope I don't have to. This time around, if I go back to work, it'll be more like, okay, I need to get some coins real quick. But I'm trying to, figure out how to do something on my own. I keep going to these jobs, and then 6, 7 months later, I leave. I've been doing that cycle for how long? It's like, well, maybe it's a sign that, you know, maybe we've worked long enough. For dinner tonight, I have beef fried rice. Yeah. Yeah, I had shrimp fried rice for lunch, and I have beef fried rice for dinner. Whenever I go to the Chinese place, I'll buy two meals. Happy Friday, Lucinda. John, I thought about van life in the past, but I kind of like four walls, you know? I kind of like sticks and bricks. I kind of like a regular shower. And honestly, I've thought about it, and the the savings isn't worth it. Okay, so let's say I bought a van, and even though I plan on buying a van, my next vehicle, but and that would be for, like, sometimes if I'm traveling and I don't want to, I need to stop somewhere overnight. I don't want a hotel. I can sleep in the van. But that'd be the only kind of van living I would do. But, like, just doing the math, it would only be saving me, because now I'm living in Airbnbs. I try to find an Airbnb, $1,200 a month, between nine and like $1,200 a month is kind of the sweet spot for me. So if I lived in a van full time and totally, didn't have any of the amenities and luxuries of a sticks and bricks, I'd be saving about $1,000 a month. I'd rather just spend $1,000. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, and there's some people who different. They're like, man, $1,000, I'm in the van. Like, honestly, like if I was saving 5 grand a month or something, cool. But I'd be saving like $1,000 a month. I would just rather have a shower and a toilet and air conditioning. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not. It's you different people, different rewards. You got to, like, figure out what works for you. So that's why I'm like, I don't think van life would work for me, just because, like, it's not saving me enough money for it to be worth it to me. CLU, thank you. Happy weekend to you as well. Cooking and listening, let's go. Are pineapples acceptable on pizza? Sure, not my pizza. You better. We'll get two pizzas, and you can put pineapples on yours. Not on my pizza. It's pepperoni or sausage. It's meat lovers. Pepperoni, sausage, or meat lovers. We don't do that extra cheese or pineapple or all this other weird. I'm not into exotic. Me. I'm old school. Give me a large meat lovers. I'm good. Yeah, Odin, work is definitely changing. Work is definitely changing. These jobs is different now. Yeah, Derek, and that's one of the things too. Like, I kind of like being able to, like, I don't really like driving that much too. So, like, if I live in a vehicle, yeah, you got I don't I like being able to, you know, go inside. I want to take my house with me everywhere. Ronan, plan on doing your first seasonal job soon. Do companies fly out their employees? Most of them do not. And the companies that do provide some type of airfare, it's usually in places like Alaska, and they provide airfare back. Ain't no, like, just, I mean, if just think about it, you're dealing with people who, most of them never worked for you before, and they're only coming to work for you for like 5 months. I'm not paying, and a lot of these places have hundreds of employees. Even if you got 10 employees, that's, say $500. I'm paying 5 grand to fly 10 people out, and they may not make it. So, nah, like, I totally understand why they don't do it. If it was a bit more like long term, like if these were long term jobs, and you were flying out there to work the rest of your life, or for years and years, maybe. And if they had to fly one or two people out, maybe. But yeah, they can't afford to fly from 10 to 50 to 100 employees every single season, So, no, most of them don't. And the ones that do, like I said, a lot of them will be like, if you work the whole season, we'll fly you back home. But even those are the ones in remote places. But most of them don't. You got to find your own airfare there. Chuck, I don't really chase the weather. I'll say this: for example, I don't want to do another Montana winter. even though last winter was mild. So I'm probably going to go somewhere with a milder winter, but I'm not going to go like down to Florida or nothing like that. No. So I kind of, I don't know if I chase the good weather as much as avoid the bad weather, if that makes any sense. Travis, I appreciate you subscribing. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. What up, Bella? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, Queen, y'all been traveling all over for 3 years. Pay for the hotel. Do you need a kitchen? Hey, that's the beauty of not cooking. I don't. Most I do is an air fryer. No, John, you don't have to message and ask about a whole month. You can just, and I honestly, I know I mentioned this the other day, but like I have the list here, so I'm gonna do this video probably this weekend about staying in Airbnbs. But you could put in, like, if you go on the website, you can put in how long you want to stay. So for like for this one, I put in 3 months, and it shows you a price. Now, you can message them and negotiate if you want to. Sometimes, most of the time, I don't. I'll just put in, the month, and a lot of them give weekly discounts and monthly discounts. It's already right there in the app. They've already put it in there. So you put in, how long you want to stay. It tells you the price. If it's a good price, I usually just request a book. Or some of them you have to request a book. They have to approve it. Some you can just book. But especially if it's a longer stay, and if it's maybe a little bit out my price range, I might message them and just say, hey, can you adjust? And they can go right in and adjust the price. It takes 2 seconds. The people who are going to do it, they'll just be like, yeah, cool. And you'll see they'll send you a message and it'll say book now. And when you click on book now, it'll have the new price. But yeah, you don't have to talk to them. It just pops up in the app, the price. And no, never pay anybody outside the app. Just because I never pay anybody outside the app, just because like they don't know me, I don't know them. Not to mention there's safeguards when you book through Airbnb. For one thing, there's like documentation. I paid you this money, blah 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 blah. Not to mention Airbnb can get involved with the money. If something get crazy, Airbnb can get involved with the money because you're paying them and then they pay the person. So Airbnb is involved in that transaction. If you pay outside the app, now if I stayed with someone for you know 3 months and I really got to know them, and then they were like, hey, we can do this outside of the app, maybe. But just going into it first time staying with somebody, nah. I keep it in Airbnb. David, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you, thank you. As the cup says, tired. Hey, I appreciate the love. Super Chat Squad, thank you so much, David. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope you're not tired. Let's see. Do I reply to Instagram greetings from us? Winter, so, I will be honest with you. I'm trying to get better about replying to my Instagram. What usually happens on Instagram is I'll get on there and I'll see a message and I'll be like, oh, I'll respond. I'm gonna respond in a minute. Because I just now put Instagram back on my phone because I want to start posting on Instagram again. So I would be on my laptop, and usually when I'm on my laptop, I'm doing a bunch of other stuff. Not to mention, my Instagram is pretty much all, a small portion is people I did seasonal work with, some of my friends. The rest of it is all women's sports. So when I get on, when I'm on my Instagram, I get very distracted, right? Because those are my girls. I'm catching up with the news, So I'll be like, oh, I'll respond to that in a second. And then I get busy doing something. So I'm going to try to get better about that, especially now that I have Instagram on my phone. It's like, that's why I respond to a lot of YouTube comments, because like I'll be sitting somewhere and I don't have anything to do. I'll pull up my phone, respond to comments. First thing in the morning, respond to comments. So now that I have Instagram on my phone again, I'll probably be able to respond to messages better, because I'll be doing it like that. So sorry if I didn't reply. I apologize. I apologize. Hey, we got some love in the chat. Super Lucy Lola. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So love you tip, Adriana. Hey, Adriana. Thank you, thank you. Love you too. Love you too. Let me give you a like. Let me give you a like on that. Boom, there it is. Thank you. Love you too, and I appreciate that support. Thank you. We got some more. It's a super chat train. Let's go. Says Tim the best. Detox. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That is love. I appreciate that support, y'all. Thank you so much. Let me, okay, boom. Had to put a like on it. That's a must. Thank y'all so much for the love. Thank you. Key Wellness, I see you. What up? Let me jump back up here. I don't want to miss nobody's comment. We already talked about pizza. Okay. Tucson has mild winters. I was in Tucson before. Last time I was in, no, I went to Tucson, then I went to Phoenix. Okay. I don't want to say nothing bad about Arizona because Angela be in the chat. Masters of Water, I almost never run. I hike a lot, I walk a lot, but I never run. I don't really see the point. If I'm being 1,000% honest, if I'm keeping it tall with y'all, I seriously wonder about the science behind running. Maybe, for some people, maybe it's very helpful. I just don't think for me, it just seems weird to run when I could just walk. It just seems like we were built for walking. I feel like our ancestors only ran when they were scared, when they were, when they were running from something, or like playing. So I don't know. I don't run, is what I'm saying. JLM, how you doing? Bakersfield has mild winters. Okay. California's the best weather. I don't know if I could live in California though. Respectfully. Even though I got a couple friends out there, I just don't know if I could live in California. I don't know. Maybe there's parts of California that I don't know about that I could, but I don't know. You gotta understand. I'm from where I'm from down south. The two places you talk crap about: California, New York City. Not that matters, but Loretta, how you doing? You got to go to work at 9 p.m. Okay. We appreciate you stopping by. Say hello. Oh, you looking at that camper van? All right. Okay. Good luck. Hope you find a good one. Hey, Days Wadsworth. 10 weeks off of booze. I feel great. Nice. Congratulations. But I keep having feelings, thinking I can control it if I drink again. How long have you been off the booze? How do you feel? Dave, first and foremost, I feel great. So much better since I stopped drinking. Honestly, it's either 7 years or 8. Or is it 6 or 7? I honestly lost track of how many years it's been. I think it's 7 going into 8. I honestly, I think it was 2018. So I think it's 8 now. I honestly don't keep track because the only time I talk about the years or whatever is when people ask me on here. Alcohol just isn't a part of my life. So it kind of seems weird to me that people who've left alcohol behind continue to count how long ago they left it behind. It's kind of like if I break up with somebody, if 7 years from now I'm like, hey, I broke up with Sheila 7 years ago today, people will be like, why are you still talking about Sheila? Didn't you tell us she was no good for you, so you broke up with her? 7 years later, you still counting? You know what I mean? So that's why personally I don't count anymore. But I feel amazing, to answer your question. It's Bellum. Thank you. Super Chat Squad. Good to see you. It's been a minute. Said, do you have any thoughts? Hi, Tim and Ward University fan. We in here. Do you have any thoughts on data centers and how they could potentially cause water shortages? I'll be honest with you. I haven't really looked into data centers that much. Every time I hear about them, somebody's saying something like that, like they're going to cause water shortages or power shortages, or they take too much energy, which is kind of why I've resisted looking into them, because I don't never hear nothing positive about them. And I'm like, that's one less thing I don't want to have to worry about. So I wish I had some input on that, but I will say this though. I think whatever aspects of the AI revolution that we're going to keep around because they actually benefit us, I think we will find ways to make them work, as we always do. We get these new technologies, we jump out the window doing all this craziness, and then we go back to balance and we find ways to make it work. Um, so, but I have no evidence or any research to back that up. That's just me being toxically positive, people would say. Toxically optimistic. Yeah, no. Doctor, I'm refusing to pay any attention to all that gender stuff with the WNBA. Like I'm not getting involved in it. Um, yeah, no. I love the WNBA and I hope nothing happens to ruin it. But if they mess around and ruin sport, then I'll just watch something else. So I'm just refusing to get. I just watch the games and cheer for my girls. Travis said, "Don't go to Texas." I've been there. Texas is another state I don't think I could live in. Um, could I live in DC? Nah, Chris, I don't think so. Christ Child, I don't think so. I don't want to live on the East Coast or down South anymore. So I'll just put that out there. I don't want to live on the East Coast or down South anymore. Maybe years to come, but currently, I appreciate this part of the country way too much. If I'm gonna be in America, I'm gonna be out west. LA has the best food, but everybody says that. Respectfully, I would like to go to New Hampshire. Yeah, totally. Like Northeast, I wouldn't mind visiting. I've never been up there. David about to go 100% seasonal. Let's go. I'm sure our paths will cross. A lot of people that I've met on here. It may took some time, but one day I was out and about. They're like, "Hey, it's me, so and so." David coming through again. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad. Thank you, David. Thank you. Nukes, how you doing? Encoded to Daily Dose of Timothy Ward. Been watching for a few years. Now glad I've been catching more streams lately. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear you stuck around, first and foremost. We appreciate that. And yeah, we've been trying to put more content, more live streams out there so we can talk, interact more, get more love and abundance out there. Yeah, Travis, I mean, with everything, I think there's good and bad. So I think AI was one of the technologies that I personally have never seen a technology that so many people were talking about the bad first, right? Usually it's like so many people are scared of AI even before they looked into it. Usually something comes out and everybody's like, "Oh, it's the best thing," and then later we're like, "Oh, AI is the first time that people were just like, this is horrible," before they even started using it. So I don't think anyone will be surprised by negative effects from AI. We might be surprised at what they are. But, oh, I didn't even see that coming. But I think people are expecting it, you know, which is, we'll see. Data centers require electrolytes. Give it Pedialyte. Okay. Let's just say, glad you said respectfully. And once again, I'm sure there's amazing places where I would never live or ain't planning on living. Just like I'm sure I go places and live places, that people are like, nah, I couldn't go there. I've been telling people to come to Montana for 10 years. People don't do it. So, I just, certain places I'm good on. Can't beat New England in the fall. Okay. Doctor, I go to South Carolina. I mean, last time I was in, or was it the time before last, when I was in Myrtle Beach, I went up to North Carolina for a little bit. You know, Austin is a vibe, Travis. Austin is a vibe. I haven't spent much time in Texas, but when I was in Austin, it was a vibe. Yeah. Do I think renting forever is the smartest thing to do in this day and age of climate change, water scarcity, potential water wars? Renting is flexibility, according to some experts. Nukes, I don't spend much time, you know, I don't even know what a water war is. Like, is it war over water or war with water? Anyway, no, I'm joking. I know what you're saying. I don't think If I was thinking, like for me, I don't want to buy a house because I don't want the responsibility. I was just talking with a friend of mine and I was telling her, I'm like, y'all know me. I don't want any responsibility. I want as little responsibility as possible. But I think if I was debating renting or buying, I wouldn't be as worried about those type of things as, stuff like the housing market in my area. What are the schools like here? But I would be worried about the same stuff that people have been worried about forever about houses. I wouldn't be worried about like water wars and climate change and all this other stuff. If you're gonna start worrying about all the things that could happen, well, you're not gonna make any decisions in life. I think, and this is just for me, I think about the solid, hard, real things I need to think about. And all this other stuff that the news and everybody else wants to come up with might happen. I'd let them worry about that. At the end of the day, if we end up having a water war, we're all screwed. So you know what I mean? Like, why worry about it now? But I think whether you rent or whether you buy is kind of up to each person. They got to figure out for themselves. Oh, we got a good conversation going about AI. Yes. Yes. That's why I love bringing up AI because everybody gets in the mix. That's the contrarian in me. I love a little, as long as it's respectful. You know what I mean? I like people where you. We'll see. We'll see. We're gonna see. I'm excited to see. In 2036, I want to see what the world looks like. I'm excited to see what the world's gonna be anyway. You know what I mean? I think that's why I don't get all worked up and worried about like, I'm way too worried about abundance, bro. Like and love and joy and getting financially free. Like I don't have time to worry about all this other stuff. But I'm excited to see, what the world does. Be that good, bad, ugly, amazing. I'm just excited to be alive and live my life. And whatever the world's gonna do, it's gonna do. Exactly. That exactly, doctor. That's what I'm saying. Like I hear people talk so much about all the negative stuff in the world, how bad it is, how bad it's gonna get. I'm like, well, then why are you not out just enjoying your life then? Everybody should be out in the street partying. It's over. Like, if you really think it's the end of times, why are you not enjoying this earth to the fullest? If you really think we're not going to be able to live these lives 10 years from now, why are you not living? Why are you still getting up and going to the job you hate that doesn't pay you enough money to pay all your bills if you think this is over? You shouldn't be worried about none of this. I ain't worried about these bills. I ain't worried about this mortgage. I ain't worried about this job. I'm sitting on the beach somewhere chilling. If you really think it's all over. But it's ironic to me that it's the people like myself who are like, it's going to be fine, who are like doing stuff. I'm like, you can't have it both ways. You can't be like, I need to keep following the rules. None of this is going to matter in 5 years because the world's going to be so bad. I mean, you can do that because people are doing that, but it doesn't make sense to me. If the world is so bad and we got all this, like, if it's so much stuff about to happen, why even worry? If it's over, just let it be over. If the world's worse than it's ever been, why worry about one or two things? Just let it all go. It's just my opinion. Alvin Anthony, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you so much. Thank you for that donation to the Freedom Fund. Today, Tim, it appears to me that there are a lot of jobs in the cities. That's why I tend to move into cities. Your thoughts about moving into the cities? I agree with you. I think in certain cities there is a lot more work than rural areas, suburban areas. Um, and if that's something you want to take advantage of, I say move to the city. I like a medium-sized city or a large town. Huge like mega cities aren't really for me. But once again, I think we're all different. So some people love the city. So if you love the city, move to the city. Like if the city is giving you, or you think it's going to give you what you need, go to the city. If you like things a little quieter, maybe hit the burbs, hit the country. That's the beauty of life and freedom is that we can kind of decide to live where we want to live. So yeah, I do think one of the things I've learned from traveling and working so many different places is like the job market is not the same everywhere. So that's why when people say the job market, I'm like, the job market is based on so many different things, and location is a major one. You know, also the type of job you're trying to get. You know, even in the same city, there's different job markets. You know, different career paths and different what's the word I'm looking for? You know, just different jobs. You know, the job market for what I do is totally different from the job market for somebody who works a corporate Fortune 500 company. Two different job markets. So when people are like the job market's horrible, you got to figure out what job market they're talking about because it might not apply to you. And in the city you live in, it might not apply to you. One thing you can do with AI, if you do have the freedom to move around, is you can ask it, where are the jobs you're looking for? Say what you want about AI, but I appreciate the fact that I can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, this is what I do for a living. They ain't got many of those jobs here. Can you tell me some cities or some areas where they have more jobs in this field? Yeah, it's just. But thank you for that love, Alvin. Hopefully that answered your question. I feel like I didn't say much. Gemini, see, Gemini, you asked Gemini to remember your conversation and forgot it. That's crazy because ChatGPT remembers everything we talk about. Like I will have told it something 2 months ago, and then I'll ask it something new, and it'll be like based on what we talked about a few in the past about so and so. I'm like, I didn't even know I told you that, bro. Like it knows everything about my channel. Like if I say if I ask it something and there's anything YouTube or whatever based, it will tell me all kinds of stuff. Oh yeah, based on the fact that you like to talk about this and da 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 da, and you mentioned minimalism and this is what we could do. It knows all about my channel. It does it. Ironically, and I think it just calls me by the name I told it to call me, because like it knows all about my channel, but it still doesn't call me Timothy. Because I think I initially told it to call me another name because I didn't give it my real name back when I first started using ChatGPT. I gave it one of my aliases. So it still calls me that, even though it knows, which I guess AI doesn't, just because it knows my channel name doesn't make it my real name. Anyway, we're getting too far out in the weeds here. But yeah, it remembers everything about me. Hey, Miss Queenie C, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, Super Chat Squad, thank you. Let me give you a like on that real quick. Oh, no, 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 don't hit that. Like, yes. Said peace and blessings, Tim. Same to you, thank you. Thank you for always having a good word for us when we need it. Hey, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. And thank y'all for being here with me to share that word. And I appreciate that support so much. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you. We here. David coming through. Thank you. David Peters. Thank you. Said Southern not afraid to the cold. Okay. Okay. Not afraid of the cold, maybe? You're saying you're a Southern who's not afraid of the cold? Okay, I respect that. I respect that. Hey, you know me. Now, my first Super Chat Squad. Thank you, David. My first real winter was in 2015, and it was in Montana, and I was so scared. Oh, I was scared. I bitched and moaned and cried, and everybody was like, Tim, just get the right clothes. And when winter rolled around, I got the right clothes and I was fine. But like, I'd never really seen like snow before. So, there are some things you gotta learn. But yeah, I was so scared, but we got through it. I can do the winter. I just, you know, uh, yeah, just not always a fan of. I'm not a fan of it. Yeah, it's Bellum. That's why. Yeah, AI can help you take care of yourself. When that's what and that's what I think. Once again, we will use it for what we need to use it for. Every time people start ranting about the craziness of the world, you say, "Looks like a nice day out." They be like, "What is he talking about?" Living in cities freak you out and coded? Yeah, sometimes. There's a lot of cities I like visiting, but some of the, yeah, I probably wouldn't live in them. Opportunity, yes. One of the words I was looking for, yes. TLC, how you doing? 2 years sober. You gonna quit your bartending job and start personal training? Let's go. Let's go, TLC. Just want to say thanks for the positivity. You are welcome. And thanks for the update. Yeah. Do it. Do it. Start personal training, Start personal training. Congrats on the 2 years sober. That's awesome. Let us know how the personal training goes, please. Navi says, what do you do? In regards to what? Navicerts? I'm franking her. Yeah. I got different names for whatever AI I'm talking to. They don't need to know him. Haley, good to see you. Super Chat Squad. Thank you. Thank you so much. Says, Main Man Tim, thanks for all that you do. You're welcome. You inspire me to do rotational scheduled jobs, which is similar to the seasonal work. Thank you. You are welcome. And I love to hear about different types of work, I think that is one of the coolest things is when you can discover a different way to work that like works better for you, and we don't just have to blindly be like, well, this is, how work is. It's like, no, you can figure out some stuff that's different. There's a lot of people out there working different type jobs that work better for them. So it's always like, and a lot of times it just someone mentioning a different type of work, like maybe say me mentioning seasonal work, somebody starts doing some research and they discover something totally different that they like even better, and then they mention it in a chat and someone's like, what is rotational work? They Google that, they learn about that, they might come up with something else. Like, yeah, it just all kind of snowballs. If we're gonna be working, I want us to be doing the type of work that at least works for us, So thank you, Haley. Always good to see you. Queen, you talk with Gemini? Yeah, there's a lot of people who have really good in-depth conversations with AI, and they use it kind of as a free therapist, and yeah, how many Montana winters have I done? I feel like I've done a couple. This year doesn't count; it was super mild, but I feel like I've done a couple before this. Done a few Colorado ones, which are a little milder. The Colorado one I don't mind. Praveen, good to see you. Yeah, I think I saw. Did I see your comments today? I'm not sure if I saw them today. Greg, yes, this Airbnb I'm in. I'll be here total 3 months. So yeah. Glad to hear that, Praveen. Glad to hear that. 367. Sending blessings from Mexico City. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you. We take them blessings, bathe all in them, send them back to me. Actually, we're not sending the same blessings back. We bathe all in those blessings and we send you some of your own. Okay, that sounds a little better. Mexico City, yes. Mexico City's a vibe, man, to tell you. It's Bellum. You're still working. You left your desk job March 2025, still successfully working as an independent contractor, making my own hours. Tim helped me to take the leap. That's awesome. That is awesome. And I love that you shared that story because it's very motivating for other people in the chat. Think about doing the same thing. It's possible. Take that leap and be doing okay. There's some rough months sometimes, but like it's possible to take that leap. You start a hair seat on Friday for me? Okay, good. Yeah, nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work 9 to 5. Yeah, I just think, people don't. We're not taught there's options, and I honestly think the jobs or the companies that have different schedules don't always do a good job of letting people know about it. And yeah, Queen, I know work has been longer and harder in the past for some people, but it's also been easier for some people. I don't justify wrong by saying people have done worse, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to and I'm saying you were doing that, but some people do. Some people say, man, I don't want to work 40 hours a week. They're like, people used to work 60 hours a week. Yes. and they didn't want to work 60, just like I don't want to work 40. Like that's not a good argument to me. Is if I say I don't like something or it's wrong, you can't justify it by saying somebody's doing something wronger. That's like if I'm like, hey, that dude just robbed me. And someone's like, well, somebody down the street got murdered. He's still robbed. Neither one of them is right. And I still don't want to be robbed. Right? So like I get that comment a lot. Not once again, not saying that's how you were saying it, but people would be like, back in the Industrial Revolution, people worked there. I'm like, and I'm glad we fixed that. Now let's fix this 9 to 5 thing. We're getting better. You know, been 100 some years since we had some real change, but we're getting better. Let's keep getting better. Praveen, I will definitely say prayers for your parents. Sorry to hear they aren't doing well. So sorry to hear that. I definitely put up prayers for them, Praveen. Yes, definitely, definitely. Let me actually write that down so I don't forget, because I want to be specific in my prayers. Hold on. And I'm sure some other people in chat will do so as well. So definitely, Praveen, I will do that. Gratitude Gorilla. It's one of Gary Vaynerchuk's intellectual properties. He just created these characters, um, and it just I bought this shirt because it reminds me to be grateful, and I like wearing it so people have to read it. Um, and I very rarely get comments on it. Usually, I get people look at it and be like, "But I'm glad they had to read the words gratitude." Haley said, if y'all know a job that lets you work 1 day a month and supports a lavish lifestyle, put in the chat. Asking for a friend. Um, Legal jobs, by the way, folks. Only put legal jobs. Okay. All right. Wizard, it's funny. I'm polite with AI too. I always say hello and thank you, just because like I feel like that's the right thing to do. I'm not worried that when they take over they're going to remember, but they might. Uh, but I just think it's hard. I can't converse with man or machine without being nice. Like that's just the way you converse. So literally, I'll be typing something out and I'll delete it and say hello. Then I'll ask my question. Like I just can't converse without the pleasantries and politeness, even if it is a machine. But then I talk to my car, so it's all energy. Um, I talk to my car a lot. A lot of prayers and positive energy been sent your way in the chat, Praveen. Awesome. Yeah, we can always improve everything. You know, it's not a bad thing to want to improve something. And if the day came when the majority of people liked their job, got paid a good wage, had good health care, and really believed in where they were working, I'm happy. It don't even I would love for it to be everybody, but if it was the majority of the people, if the majority of us were like, yeah, I like my job, and they pay me good, and I'm happy with my benefits, and I'm happy with the hours, I'm good. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. I don't think that's beyond our capability in 2026. We are literally having conversations about people nervous that AI is going to take over the world, but we can't figure out work. We can't figure out work because people don't want to figure out work. And that's my issue. It's not like companies and corporations couldn't figure out how to make their employees happy and still make a profit. They know how. They just don't want to. And that's kind of my problem. Actually, that's not kind of my problem. That's my problem. They know how to do it. They just don't want to lose the profits. Hey, it's Bellum. I love that. Said I worked various jobs after leaving my desk job, cleaned mansions, worked at Tesla, currently a PI. This sounded like a movie, at least a book. And I've sold some furniture I found for free. Rich neighborhoods got the goods. Facts. I've done that. Be creative. Let's go. Yeah, I've dumpster dived and sold stuff. I remember one of the sweetest licks I ever hit. I was going to work, and this is when I lived in Florida, college town. Um, there was what, 3 mini fridges sitting out by the road. I snatched them puppies up, threw them in the car, took them home. Um, I think all 3 of them worked, but one of them, for some reason, I didn't sell one of them. But literally, I sold 2 of them. So and I think it was like $50 a pop. That a quick hundo. All I had to do was take them home, clean them, put them on Craigslist, like a quick hundo. Might even more than that, but I think like a hundo, 50 a piece. Bam. I just a little lifted them up, put them in the car, took them out the car later, cleaned them up, sold them. Quick hundo. Let's go. Let's go. Which I'm sure I spent that on comic books back then, but my I talk to the car, but the car doesn't like talk back, and I don't have a name for it. So like the car doesn't have a male or female persona because it's not a person. So I know a lot of people like name their car and they call it he or she. I don't. I just talk to the car, and I thank it for being a good car. But it's not a male or female because it's not a person. Respectfully. That's the way I look at it. Chuckford, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you so much. Let me give you a like on that real quick. Said, hey, Tim, been a long time fan. Just wanted to show some support and appreciation for your content. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Chuckford. Thank you. I appreciate you sticking around, being a part of the community, and I appreciate that support. And I hope to continue making content that keeps you on to stick around for many more years. So thank you, thank you. We here. It's love. It's love. Y'all are amazing. Abundance. Let's go. Do I watch cartoons? I'm not above it. If I can find a good cartoon, I'll watch it. I am disappointed in that new Batman, Cape Crusader cartoon. I'm trying to watch it, and it's just not good. Which is disappointing because Bruce Timm was one of the minds behind Batman the Animated Series, which was one of the shows I appreciate the most from my childhood. And this one is just not maybe because I got such high standards from my superhero cartoons, but it's not living up to the standard. So yeah, I'll watch a cartoon quick if I can find a good one. You know, yeah. You say because of the way you giggle. Oh, I'm silly. Oh, I'm silly. I'm silly. Cartoons or not, I'm silly. A lot of love. Praveen and his parents getting a lot of love. I appreciate that. That's awesome. There's going to be a lot of prayers put up. Got to name the car. Nah, I'm good. Hey, I just don't. I've never been a namer. Y'all know me. So many things. People like, did you name it? What's the name? I don't names, bro. It knows when I'm talking to it because I usually put my hand on the dash. I don't know. Yeah, Haley, I'm just not a namer. I don't know. Y'all know me. I'm different. I got to be different. I'm a contrarian. I got to be different, You said a curse word while you're driving, and Jim and I said it doesn't respond to harmful language. Just tell it, yes, I want you to respond to harmful language from now on. I wonder what it would do. Being a PI, you get to wake up most days when you want to. Nice. Scribe, you're watching Vox Machina? I feel like I've seen that. I haven't watched it, but I've seen it. Yeah. I'll be trying to find good cartoons. I'll be honest with you. Lately, I haven't been, like, when I sit down to, like, eat dinner or lunch, I'll be trying to find something to watch. I don't know. Here lately, it hasn't been much going on. I don't know. It kind of does, even, like, the gameplay channels I watch, people playing video games, The reactors I watch, I don't know. It's just been kind of a drought lately. Which I've been trying to discover new channels to watch. Like when I watch YouTube, I'm trying to break out of the algorithm. The algorithm has me so tightly boxed into the stuff it shows me. So I just been looking up random stuff and subscribing to people. Just like I got all kinds of gardening stuff pop up in my algorithm now. How you doing, Global? I got all kinds of gardening stuff pop up in my algorithm just because I typed in gardening and it was just watching people pull zucchinis out. Just because it's it's nature and it's vibrant and it's usually women doing it. So I just subscribed to a couple channels just to change up my algorithm. You gotta do what you gotta do. And I think it's cool to see. I like to make myself sometimes learn about stuff that I normally wouldn't, just because I think it expands my horizons. Like, oh, that's how you plant squash. You didn't know what an algorithm was until the 10th grade? Okay. I feel like there's a lot of people who still don't know. Did you know there's actually multiple algorithms? We say the algorithm, but it's really tons of algorithms. Which that's why I feel like at the end of the day, the social media companies don't always know what the algorithm's doing. You know what I mean? Because there's so many different algorithms doing different things. Especially now with AI, I think, and I think that's why you might have noticed here on YouTube, the algorithm has got very tight. So if you look at one thing, it's going to show you so much stuff about that instantly. It used to take a while. It used to be like if I looked at something about bottled water, maybe over the course of the next few days, I might get like one or two, you know, things about bottled water. Now, literally, when I refresh the page, there's like 5 videos about bottled water. I think that's AI's influence on the algorithm. And I don't necessarily think it's positive. I like the algorithm better when it was more, slower and kind of understood. Just because you watch one video on something doesn't mean you want to watch every single video on it on YouTube's. So I'm hoping that's something they, figure out or dial back. But YouTube's doing some interesting stuff lately. So for me personally, I see it as motivation to get some other stuff going because I don't know where YouTube's going to be in the future, you know? Yeah, it's Bellum. Yeah, it's yeah. It's been acting like to your point. It's been acting like you said. Been acting very generic. It's almost like the algorithm's gotten lazy, and it's just like, oh, you watch this, show you more, show you more. Instead of like before, it seemed like it would be like, oh, you like this, well then let me do a little digging and maybe, cross reference, show you this. May not be exactly what you looked at, but maybe it's in line. It just seems like it's got lazier. I don't know. Dynamic said, "Do you think most nomads are chasing something or avoiding something?" Thanks for the positivity. You're welcome. No, I don't. I think being a nomad is a lifestyle. I think, for example, I have a nomadic personality. I got to move around. A buddy of mine, my buddy Cyan, we talk about this all the time. He has a nomadic personality. Um, Maybe not as extreme as mine, but close. Um, I don't think either one of us are running from something or trying to get away from anything, because honestly, both of us are pretty chill. You know what I mean? And by now we would have, you know, figured it all out. I just think that would be like saying, do you think everybody who stays stationary is scared of the unknown? Hits a little different when you say it that way. You know what I mean? If I was like everybody who just stays in one place and doesn't travel as much as I do is scared of the unknown. Um, that's the same as saying like everybody who's a nomad is running from something. It's just a lifestyle like choice. It's a lifestyle. Some of us just like to nomad around. Like honestly, if I stay somewhere too long, I don't understand the point. I get bored. I just be like, why am I here? I much prefer to leave while I still enjoy a place, and then I can come back in a couple years. Like that's how I enjoy a place. I stay there for a while, then I leave, and then 2 3 years later I come back if I want to. So no, I don't think all nomads are running from anything. Honestly, most of the nomads I know are some of the most at peace, chill, kind of got a lot of their stuff figured out people. So good question though. Good question. And you're welcome for the positivity. Praveen, coming through with the love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, Praveen. I appreciate that, the continued support. I really appreciate, despite the things you got going on, you still come through. You're still a major part of the community, and you're still showing love. So thank you. Thank you, Praveen. You rock. You're amazing. Hashtag abundance. Good. Yeah, I like that nomad question. That was a good question. There's a show from 2012 called Person of Interest. Is that the one with the guy with the glasses and then the? I think I've yeah. I think I've watched that show. It's got what's her name in it. Um, I know the show. I think I know the show you're talking about. Yeah, 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 yeah. And Global said, I've never been fishing. Found myself subbing to one dude who fishes next to some beautiful waters, and he karate chops squid. Okay, Twitch, Twitch, Twitch. Let's go. I mean, hey, so I think it's great. Yeah, we discover something that we don't know nothing about that, like, allows us to see a different part of life. You've thought about stuff and then it popped up in your feed. Interesting. I would say this, Queen. There might be a reason you thought of it because maybe someone around you mentioned it earlier, or someone around you something happened earlier, which is the reason you thought about it, and it picked up on what happened earlier. Um, you know, maybe somebody close to you was talking about it and you kind of overheard it, not really paying attention, and then later you were like, I wonder about how do you make so and so, and then it showed up in your feed because it picked up on them talk about it earlier. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Lonely Sarah X1. What up, what up, what up? Good to see you. Good to see you. I see you lurking. Okay, okay. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the lurking. I appreciate the. Nope, stop, chat. Let me give you a like on that. It's good to see you. It is good to see you. I was thinking about you this morning. It is good to see you. And we always glad to have you in the chat, even if you just lurking. You know, the chat always gets more excited by your mere presence, even if you're just lurking. So good to see you, and thank you, thank you. Where we at? Oh, Deciduous. How you doing? Agent said, I'm not a nomad, but I've moved around a lot in the past. I like the idea of being a snowbird when I retire, live in Canada, travel to Southeast Asia, Mediterranean. Yeah, man. It's a big world, you know? And they have these things called passports that let you see it. So yeah, no need to if you want to go different places and you have the ability, do it. Let's go. Do I still have to create any new Womb to Tomb t-shirt? I haven't done any merch in a while, Winter. Maybe in the future. I kind of want to do like a Stay Blessed merch, maybe. One or two things. Dark Notion, appreciate you liking the stream. Thank you. And I appreciate everyone who liked the stream. We're 12 likes away from 100. Let's go. It's Bellum. Every time I get on TikTok, I don't like the energy. I'm like, man, I'm gonna get on TikTok, and then I get on there. I just don't like the energy. I don't like about TikTok that when I get on YouTube, even though the algorithm is crazy these days, it's I'm like it only shows me things. I just feel like on TikTok, the whole idea of like swiping up, I get more stuff presented to me. Like I feel like the algorithm on YouTube tries to show me things it thinks I'm interested in. The algorithm on TikTok, I feel like shows you things you're interested in, but it also is trying to show you new stuff. I don't like the new stuff. It's always showing me random stuff I don't want to see. So that's why I don't get on TikTok. Um, yeah. It's just a different energy. You sub to Gold Painting channel out of BC? Okay, yeah. People probably they still paying for gold. Do they find any though? Oh, maybe that's not the show I was thinking about. Then JLM doing a lot of lurking, popping from time to time. Let's go. Yeah, that Stay Blessed merch. I might. Yeah, I'm looking at that. I just want like I want a nice design, and then I would probably put it on a coffee mug, a T-shirt, and a hoodie. That'd be it. Um, yeah, for like fall. Someone swam across the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, hey, I appreciate the feedback on the merch. Let me write this down. Yeah, I can start working on designing that. Thank y'all for that feedback. I appreciate that. Ty, hey, I respect your opinion. You said staying single is better than being in a relationship. I don't know. I don't know if I can unilaterally agree with that across the board. But for you, if that works for you, let's go. There's gold in them Dar Hills. You're watching Mom on Netflix. Is that a show, Praveen? Giselle, how you doing? Good to see you. Paul, these jobs are asking for way too much. What do you mean, Paul? What are they asking for? What are they looking for? What's going on? What are they asking for? Which doesn't surprise me. But I'm curious now. Yeah, what are they asking from you? Oh, workload. I thought you meant like paperwork or something. Oh, work. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I was talking with a friend of mine right before the chat, and I was just telling her, yeah, how is it raining again? Nice. I was just telling her like how much I was working, before I left my last job, and she was just like, "What?" I'm like, "Bro, like, it was insane." Um, and no one thought it was crazy. Shahid, how you doing? How you doing? Said I'm from Pakistan. Watched your every video. Love them all. You're my true mentor. Hey, that is awesome. That is awesome. Give me a hug. Get in here. Give me a hug. That is awesome. That's awesome. Appreciate you saying what's up. Jules said job career length is 4 years. Retired in Carolina and feel my nomad adventure is overdue. Let's go. When you say job career length is 4 years, what do you mean? You got 4 years left, or you only stay at a place 4 years? What do you mean? Agent, that just because a cute girl showed up doesn't mean you're not gonna get the job. Everybody don't want to work with cute girls. Yeah, I think that's true. What about personalized office supplies? Like to-do lists and goals? You mean for me, JLM? That might be a little too complicated for me. I kind of want to keep it simple. Current, how you doing? Good to see you. You know me, I'm pretty basic. That's always been my thing. I've always been a simple man. Not saying those aren't good ideas that I'm sure maybe some other creator takes and runs with, but you know me, I'm seems like a lot of work. This is the part where I look around the table in front of me and I pick up random I pick up random odds and ends that are on the table in front of me. Okay. Batman mouse pad. If you ever were curious as to the mouse pad I use, Batman. Okay. Yeah. Every time this mouse pad gets old, I buy a new one. So like that, this is a staple in my life, is a Batman mouse pad. I think I'm on my second one. Even when I go to the co-working space, I bring my Batman mouse pad. Say something. But Tim, this is a professional environment. I got my Batman mouse pad. I'm not dealing with that. Oh, sorry. Um, Gratitude Gorilla, of course. Twinning. Some of y'all know about this. That ginkgo. Some of y'all know about this. Memory. It actually works. It actually works. Yeah, I've noticed that when I use it, it works. Oh, this just came in the mail today. I totally forgot about it because I stopped buying trading cards because I'm not working anymore. So I had to stop. But this came in the mail today. Actually, let me take it out the plastic. I forgot I bought it. I went down there and checked my P.O. box. And I was like, oh, there's something in there. Montana Fouts rookie. If you don't know who Montana Fouts is, one of the most dynamic, women's fast pitch softball players out there. I think the AUSL, the Athletes Unlimited Softball League, there might be something there. So people are like, Tim, what are you talking about? Y'all know I love my women's sport. So yeah, Montana Fouts, she's something special. Remember I told y'all that 5 years from now. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't let nothing mess around with your prescription meds there, Bree. He's Carson. When you know, you know. Yeah. When you know, you know. When you need it, you need it. So yeah, I if I feel myself getting a little brain foggy, I'll take a couple for a couple days, and it usually works itself out. Batman, I'm biased because I'm a huge Batman fan, but like Batman has the best villains, I think. Nobody has a rogues gallery like Batman. And I'm glad that I just saw that Clayface trailer. So I'm glad that DC is finally starting to use it more. And we don't just have to make movies about the Joker. So yeah, Batman has the best. Which I mean, to their credit, they did do the Penguin show, which was amazing. But yeah, Batman has like the best villains, in my opinion, and I think DC needs to use them more. The villains make Batman. Oh, they're a part of it. They're a part of it. Praveen, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you. Let me give you a like on that. I appreciate that, man. This is Tim is the most amazing content creator on YouTube. Thank you, Praveen. I'll take the compliment. I'll take the compliment. I'll take the compliment. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, see, that just brought my mood right back up. You know, so Batman makes Batman, and the villains make. Like Tim, you're supposed to be talking about abundance and motivation, encouragement. Ty, you're gonna join Migto? Okay, okay. I mean, my brother, I would never, you know, dissuade anybody from joining any organization they feel they need to join. Migto, for those who don't know, means men going their own way. I'm not sure. I know in the past it was huge. Um, I don't know where it's at on the internet these days, but I'm all for everybody going their own way. I just want everybody to do their own thing. I want everyone to break out of the societal norms and the rules and everything. I want everybody to go their own way. Because why not? You know. So yeah, let us know. Let us know what goes down at the MGTOW meetings. Let's go. I don't know. Yeah, is MGTOW still big on the internet? It was huge for a while there. I feel like the gender wars have calmed down a little. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just don't tap into it. But I feel like a few years back, the gender wars was crazy. It seems like I just don't hear about it as much anymore. But that could be because it just doesn't pop up in my algorithm. But I'm hoping we got some sanity about ourselves and realize like we're all human, and we're all on everybody lonely. It's not it's men didn't ruin dating, women didn't ruin dating. I think we all played a part in it. I don't think dating is dead. I think it's just different. I said MGTOW's still a thing. It's just expanded into men not approaching women anymore, just without a label. Oh, okay, okay. Praveen, Travel Stacks is doing well. Doing well. I just talked to her Monday. Whatever day it was that YouTube dropped those changes. I messaged her and was like, "You seen this?" And then she called me later. But yeah, Travel Stacks is good, man. That's one of my best friends in the world, man. So we stay in contact usually, once a month, if not, usually about once a month probably. I got to get out there to see her. So I'm next time y'all see me in California, that's what it'll be. I'm sure. I gotta get now that I got a little time, go out there and see Travel Snacks. But yeah, she's awesome person, man. Awesome, and she's been doing a lot more on her YouTube. So she's been live streaming and stuff like that. So yeah, awesome person, T Snacks. Blessed to have met her. We met through YouTube, which is crazy. Which I guess that was the only way we could meet because we don't know each other. Trying to make sure I didn't miss any comments. Yeah, yeah. I agent that I already told her or asked her, or actually we kind of agreed that next time we're in the same area, we'll do a live stream. We were in Myrtle Beach a few years back, and we did. It was cool. We did a joint live stream, but on like we were sitting next to each other at the table, the kitchen table of the condo we rented. So we were sitting next to each other, but we both had our laptops on, streaming from our own channel. So it was like a joint live stream, but like she was on her channel, I was on mine, but we were sitting right next to each other, and I think we kind of had them angled so you could kind of see each other on both screens. So that was kind of cool. That was kind of cool. So yeah, next time I see her, we're going. Yeah, we definitely do a joint live stream. You remember that one for me? Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, you was around back then. I am gold. How you doing? How you doing? I'm good. I'm good. Cannot complain. Cannot complain. Spend a little time with y'all. Um, got some Chinese food on deck for dinner. I'm blessed. Yeah, LT Snacks drops in the lives from time to time. He said modern life. No, no, no. We thought about doing it. Well, the problem was like whose channel do we do it on? And it didn't really matter to either one of us, but it was just like, well, do we stream 2 nights in a row, one on yours, one on mine? Because whoever's channel we did it on, it wouldn't be fair to the other one. So we were like, why don't we just do it on both of them and just sit side by side? So it's just YouTube problems. Like yeah, because it wouldn't have been fair. Ricky Baines or Ricky Bonsai said, I'm like you, brother. I get bored staying in one place too long. Exactly. I think some of us just have a nomadic soul. We just get bored. And people who don't have that don't understand it. And that's fine. And there's a lot of people who don't understand it, who don't say nothing about it. But then you get the people who don't understand it, who say there's a problem with it. And I'm like, bro, I don't understand you want to stay in one place forever, but I don't think there's a problem with it. Do you? And that's the thing. I think there are a lot of people that have nomadic souls, but they think there's something wrong with it, so they never do anything about it. And I think they would be a lot happier if they moved around from time to time. I think there's just some people who like, if every 5 years they moved to a different city, they'd be a lot happier than staying in Detroit their entire life. Like those are the people who sit around and dream about it. But it's like, if you always on the Discovery Channel looking at other places, like go to some of the places, you know? And also I think there's a lot of people who don't think it's a viable lifestyle, but like you can be a nomad and make a great living. One of your ancestors, agent, was a Dutch ship captain who sailed uh, to what is New York. Oh, he sailed from Netherlands to New York. Hey, nothing wrong with that. That was real nomadic because back then you didn't know if you was gonna make it. You know what I mean? Like that was, and it was how long did it take to cross the ocean? Someone ran on the treadmill at 9.7 miles per hour and was on the cell phone. Why is that dangerous for me? You can't run and talk? I mean, I never ran on the, I'm like, I don't really know. I don't be in the gym. So is it dangerous to be talking on a treadmill and talking on the phone and running on a treadmill? Talking on a treadmill, running on the phone? That could be dangerous. Is that fast too? 9.7 miles an hour? Is that fast? I don't know nothing about treadmills. I don't. Yeah, that was real nomading back then. Like you had to really want to go somewhere. you, you had to really want it back then. It wasn't just, my flight might be delayed. You might die. You know what I mean? The ship might sink. You might end up somewhere and there's hostels. You know what I mean? Like not hostels, HOSTL, like HOSTILE. Like, yeah, it was different back then. That was travel back then. That was definitely adventure back then. If back then, if you took a trip like that and made it back, people were surprised. Like they went all the way to New York, came back, yeah, brought all kinds of goods. He was rich. Um, yeah, you was sucking down lemons and limes so you didn't get scurvy. I don't know about you. If scurvy's a possibility, if scurvy's a possibility, I'd be like, I don't know what that is, but that sounds crazy. I'm good. But I mean, I'm just like, how I've always wondered about that. You know, how did they discover that limes and lemons worked? I have to look that up. It seems like the last thing, if people are getting something called scurvy, that you would be like, try lemons. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many other things I think you would try. How did they discover like lemons? It's something with the British, I'm sure, because limeys. Um, I gotta Google that. Ricky, I'm with you. I feel like I had people tell me this in the past. Be like, y'all don't understand how blessed y'all are to have such a large country, such a big country, which has such a variety in it. And y'all can drive from coast to coast, from border to border, anywhere in between, and never have to stop at a checkpoint, a border crossing. You know what I mean? You can drive for days straight and no one's ever gonna bother you. You don't have to show a passport, paperwork. You know what I mean? Uh, People from other countries, smaller countries, even if they can travel pretty freely between the neighboring countries, they're like, we go far enough and the language changes. We drive for 4 hours, it's a different language. But they're like, y'all have this huge, landmass, and y'all don't even be traveling to see it. Y'all haven't even seen most of it, most people. Praveen, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Cat Squad coming through again. Thank you, Praveen. So tomorrow is Indian Independence Day. 78 days free. Let's go. Let's go. I did not know that. 78 years free, excuse me. Let me give you a like on that, Praveen. Thank you. Shout out, shout out, shout out to India getting that independence. I was only 78 years ago? Dang. That's it? So there's people still alive who saw that happen? That's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Free as a bird, let's go. It's all about freedom. I should have put that at the end of the title. You're amazing, you're abundant, you're free. It's all about freedom. Praveen, do y'all is there any like ceremonies or anything, practices y'all do, traditions on Indian Independence Day? On IID? 5 likes away from 100. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Paradigm, you can hear the Freebird song right now. Is it actually playing or you're just hearing it in your mind? Just curious. Just asking. We fly kites? Who flies kites? For Indian Independence Day? Oh, you celebrate at the temple. Okay, okay. Paradigm, you're hearing it in your mind. Gotcha. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Most of the best songs take place in our mind. You ever thought about why we like music? Music is one of those things that like, if we didn't have it, we'd still be fine. You know? But we have it and we love it. But why? Like why? That's an example to me of abundance. We don't have to have music, but we have it and it's such a big part of our lives and it's totally unnecessary. So like obviously we live in an abundant universe if we have something as amazing as music that we don't have to have. I think about stuff like that. Instead of just listening to the music, I'm like, bro, we don't even have to have that. And we have it. Obviously, there's something out there that wants us to enjoy this life, you know? Canada only officially severed its last constitutional ties to the UK in 1982. Oh. Before they had to ask the British government parliament who wanted to change our constitution. I did not know that. Honestly, I didn't even know y'all severed the ties. If I'm being, we don't, we're not here downstairs in the United States. We're not really up on our Canadian history. You probably, I'm sure you know that. And we just, it's weird. We learn a lot more history about the countries we're not connected to. I just thought about that. Here in America, at least when I was in school, we learned so much more history about like Europe than we ever did about Canada or Mexico. And we're connected to them. I know more about Australia than I do Canada. It's weird. It's just I'm fascinated by what we're taught in school. So much of it doesn't make sense. Hey, good night, Praveen. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate the love, appreciate the support. Always good to see you. Thank you. Moment says, my guess is that we are vibrational beings. Music is vibration, and God wants us to be happy. Yeah, I totally agree. And I understand like how the music, everything is rhythm, everything is vibration. But that's why it just fascinates me that like we have music, you know. I kind of get why it works, but I'm just like, if we didn't have it, we'd still be vibrational beings, and it would still all be about rhythm. But if we just never had the thought to like make music, none of us would ever know. It wouldn't be like we miss it. We would just never know, and we would still enjoy our lives. But the fact that we have it, I agree. I think God was like, hey, and this is why I'm like, I think we should strive to enjoy our life, because that which put us here and gave us life wants us to enjoy it. Because we have so many examples of things that like don't have to be here, that were put here solely for our enjoyment. And so that's why I refuse to believe when like people like, when I talk about living your life, enjoying your life, things like that, people are like, that's not the way it works. Life is suffering. Life is pain. I'm like, I refuse to believe that. Because if that which I believe put us here with so many things that bring us joy and make us happy that don't have to be here. Obviously, that plays a part in the equation. I know somebody's going to argue and be like, well, he also put us here with all these things that cause us pain and cause us suffering. Well, at the minimum, we should say it's balanced then. How can we have all this amazing stuff in the world and in our lives, and we'd be like, life is pain? Then why is there ice crate? Mr. Pain. That's what I'm saying. Is there pain in life, suffering? Is there pain in life? Yes. Is there suffering in life? Yes. But there's also all this amazing stuff like music. And there ain't just like one type of music. God could have been like, I'm going to give y'all music, but only polka. We would have loved it. we would have still loved it. There's different types of music, different types of food, different types of human beings. All this variety that we can enjoy, we can appreciate. And we stand around here talking about how bad life is. Life is, it has its moments. It has its things. It has its scary stuff. But at the very least, you think we would say, okay, it has its good stuff, it has its bad stuff. Boom. Just because they say the Buddha said life is suffering, everybody want to get on the internet and be like, life is suffering. I'm like, but you're driving a $80,000 car. with heated seats. Come on now, with remote start. You don't even the cold day. The car is warmed up before you even get it. Before you even get in it. Life is suffering. Okay, I feel like I went on a rant. Okay. I wouldn't doubt that the Canadians learn more U.S. history than we do. I wouldn't doubt that. Oh, you got a lot of American ancestry, Asian? Sorry to hear that. I'm just honest with you. What is one of the wisest lessons I've learned this year? Paradigm. You know what's crazy? I think a lot of the lessons I learned, I'm relearning. You know, and I think yeah, we always have things we can learn in life, but I think I'm in that stage where it's like a lot of the stuff life is making you relearn it and maybe at a different level. You know, it's kind of like in school you take math every year, but sometimes you go from regular math to algebra 2. I feel like some of the stuff I'm learning in life is like I'm learning more in depth. The same lesson, same subject, but I'm learning a little more about it. So I don't know if I could say there's one thing I learned this year that was just mind-blowingly wise that I had no clue about before. But I feel like I'm the lessons I've already learned. Um, I'm being shown once again a lot of times like why it's true. I'd say that. 292, how's it going? Yeah, definitely what you age. And I think you can experience God through music. Private entertainer, how you doing? How you doing, Norman? King Solomon said similar things in the book of Ecclesiastes. Yeah, but you have to read the entire book. Yeah, I know vanity is striving after the wind, but you have to read Proverbs. You got to read all of Ecclesiastes. So he wasn't. That's not his total message. The same as with when if most of the people who say Buddha said life is suffering have never really read all the works of Buddha. You know what I mean? I've never really studied Buddhism like that. Actually, I don't think I know any Buddhists who go around saying life is suffering. But you know what I mean? So like, I think that's another example. Like, if you just take one verse, one scripture, one saying, you can think that person was saying one thing, but if you collectively take all their works, that's just part of it. As anyone who has read Ecclesiastes, like myself, will tell you. Ah, see, yeah. So Francis, if you read the Bible, and I know because Ecclesiastes is actually one of the Bible books I really appreciate. So that's probably in Psalms. There's some parts in Psalms I like a lot, but like when I open the Bible to read, it's probably Ecclesiastes. So it's actually a pretty encouraging book of the Bible, even though that is the passage that once again we love negativity for some reason. People love negative. I shouldn't even say we. People love negativity. If you give them a book full of positive quotes, if I was to write a book, when I write a book, but watch this, folks. This may be a few years to prove this. When I write a book, it's gonna be all about abundance and laughs and love and all, store all this. There will be a part in there, probably where like I'm, just real talk time, and maybe I'm sharing some not so positive stories. If I'm just sharing some certain things, that will be the part of the book people bring up. Watch, Mr. Abundance, didn't you be? Watch. People, not everybody, but people will come in the chat and be like, I just read your book, and for someone who talks about positivity, chapter 11 was very dark. We just, I don't know, we love to find negative stuff and bring it up, you know? Yeah, Ecclesiastes is a very positive book to me. I read it and I get uplifted, but I think it's what part you read, and I also think too it's what glasses you got on when you're reading. I tend to look at things from a positive point of view. If you're looking for negativity, you can find it anywhere. So They didn't know I read my Bible. They didn't. They didn't think the boy knew. They didn't think the kid knew. I grew up. I grew up read. I told you, I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. I was down there at the Kingdom Hall every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and I was door knocking every Saturday. That's 4 days. A lot of people who only went to Bible study on Sunday try to come at me about the Bible Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, door knocking on Saturday. And when I'm door knocking, when people open the door, they want to talk Bible. I'm 14, 15 years old. I'm talking Bible with them. I'm holding my own. I got this, Mom. Let's talk. Now, have I forgotten some of it? Yes. It's been a while since we was that deep in the Bible. I just bring it up to say it, and understandably, I don't always talk about this, so people just assume, and I say things like universe, so people just assume I have like no biblical knowledge. How you doing, Angela? Good to see you. But I'm like, when I say stuff about the Bible, once again, how many people can say 4 days a week they was either at the building learning about the book or in the streets talking about the book? I just ask questions. You know. Yeah, Agent, I was doing my thing too. I was getting a little positioning before I started my gradual decline and exit from the organization. But your boy was, your boy was making some moves. You know me. If I'm in it, I'm gonna be in it. But eventually, I realized it wasn't for me. But yeah, we was standing up, giving our presentations and talks. Yeah, man, that seems like a different life. See, that seems like a different lifetime. Sometimes I forget. I don't know, but some of my friends, like, I'll start telling stories. They'd be like, "You feel like you lived It feels like I've lived like 3 different lives. It's like I had my childhood, raised a Jehovah's Witness, up until like I think around 20. Then I had like my party days, from like 21 to like my mid 30s, and then I started like on this path, where I've been traveling and positivity and abundance and all this. I feel like, yeah, I've had the stories from the 3 are so different, which I feel like a lot of people's lives are like that, different chapters. So I'm always curious. I'm like, is there going to be like another chapter? You know, I'm curious. Is there gonna be another? Am I gonna be like, so then that was my from 35 to 50 was that, and then from 50 to that was that chapter. You know, I think life should. I'm a little biased, but I think life. There's nothing wrong with life being that way. Hold on, am I on the? Oh no, that's still the same. I was trying to make sure I put live chat on. But I don't think there's anything wrong with. Honestly, I think that's the way life is supposed to be lived. You do something for a while, and then try something new. I don't know. This idea, I think I talked about in my video yesterday, which I did a lot of takes on that video, so I might have left this part out. This might have been one of the takes. That video yesterday took me a while. So I can't, I can't, I can't walk in and try to film, and then I'd mess up, or I wasn't liking it, and I'd walk back along the trail, turn around, and come back. Literally, I probably filmed 6 takes before I got the one because eventually I'll be like, this is the one you're gonna go with, Tim. I'm like, Tim, you're a professional. Get it together. But just saying, like, I think we're taught to try to figure our life out as young as possible and just stay doing that. And I don't think that's life. Like, why? Why be put on this planet with all these different options and opportunities and things to do, but we just need to pick, you know? We just need to pick one thing and do it. Angela, yes, they was running down on you, boy, in that video. Too deep, coming through with dogs, bikes, like it was. Yeah, but it was all kind of running all kind, and that was just that take. There was people. Was the bike in that one or the other one? Was it like in the other takes? There was like other still more people. Like it wasn't a ton of people. Usually it probably would have been more, but people have been staying home because of the smoke. So even though yesterday was better, that place is usually like that trail. Like there's a big open area up top where everybody walks, and then that trail kind of goes along the side and kind of down the bottom. So that trail, there's usually not as many people, but usually up top it'd be packed, and there'll be more people. It actually was kind of, you know, lesser populated than usual yesterday, but yeah, people were still, you know, I'm like, dang, get out my way. But I'm glad people were there. Life's a class you never graduate from. Exactly, exactly. If you ever think you've learned all there is to learn in life, well, then you really got something to learn. that's the way I look at it. Because like I said, I think we learn new stuff, we relearn stuff. You know, if you ever think you got life totally figured out, well, then you got a lot to learn. I think you can start to get more in rhythm with life. And I think you can start to understand, more how this life thing works. But yeah, to totally understand it, I mean, I just don't. I think in order to totally understand humans and life, you would have to be a level higher. If you're on that level, you can never totally understand that level. We can only understand levels beneath us. So if I'm currently a human, I can never totally understand human life, human existence. I gotta be a level up. And looking down on humanity, then I can see the big picture. You can't see the big picture while you're in the picture. You know? So I think that's why we can never understand this thing, because we're in it. We're too close to it. Yeah, if I could ever get to Alan Watts' level of understanding, which I mean, I think I'm trying to find the right words to this. I feel like the ultimate level of understanding has something to do with unlearning. Like it's hard to put it into words because we only have the same. I almost feel like the ultimate level of learning, of understanding, and this will seem like it contradicts what I just said, but I think you get to a certain level where the learning is unlearning, if that makes any sense. I think you learn, and then you get to a certain level and your lessons become unlearning a lot of the stuff I'm not there. So, but when I listen to someone like Alan Watts and other people, it's not like they always have new stuff and do this. It's more of like being at peace and more about just So I think there's a level. And once again, I'm not there yet. When I get there, I'll be able to articulate it. But I definitely think that some of the higher levels of learning are about unlearning. Is unlearning learning? Yes. Or no. If unlearning is not learning, then once again, this is an area where, and there's lots of areas, and this is something that fascinates me. Your worldview, a lot of it is based on language. So there's times where you might have a thought or idea, but you don't have the word for it, so it's hard for you to grasp it. So if we had a word for unlearning learning, It'd be an easy concept. Oh yeah, yeah. You know, boom, boom, boom. But we don't have a word for it, so it's a hard concept. Which is why I wish I was a, what do they call people who know lots of languages? I wish learning languages came easy to me, because I think I would be a far smarter person if I could learn other languages, because then I would like see the world slightly differently. Yeah, wish I was a linguist, because then like I could learn like French, and then like there would be certain, nuance. I'm like, oh, I never thought about that idea before, because we ain't got a word for it in English. Polyglot, same. I think that was the one I was actually looking for. But yeah, I wish I knew more languages, because I think I would see things slightly different, because I would learn some different words, and I'd be like, what does that mean? I'd be like, hmm. But yeah, I think we struggle with some things because we don't have the word for it. But you can kind of grasp the, I know all the time I'll have like an idea in my head, but I'm like, I don't know how to say it, because we don't have the word, or I don't know the word, you know? And that kind of bothers me. But the beauty of understanding is that you don't always have to explain it. Like if I get it up here, then I got it. Like I may not have the words to tell you, but like I. Y'all have a brand of biscuit called Tim Tam? Okay, okay. Are they good? I almost feel like, and once again, I'll have to circle back to this when I'm 80 or 90, but I feel like you realize how much you don't know, but maybe you also start to realize that at the same time, there's not a lot you need to know. That make any sense? Good morning, sea monsters. Where you at? Oh, you said good evening. I read that wrong. See? Look at that. Look at that. My brain read that as good morning. Where's my ginkgo? Where's my ginkgo? My brain literally read that as good morning. It's all this smoke. It's not my fault. It's all this smoke from the wildfires been messing with me. I gotta take my ginkgo. I literally was like, where you at? Good morning. And it says good evening. And it's raining out there now. I'm loving it. It's raining out there good. The Hopi Indian tribe doesn't have a word for stutter. They also have never had a member with a stutter. Interesting. So if someone came around with the stutter, what would they say? Interesting. It is morning somewhere, but I'm embarrassed. I said good morning this evening. Alexander, I've been doing good. Been good. How about you? Jason said, YouTube didn't tell me. I had to dig in looking for your new video to see your live. Yeah, YouTube is weird about the recommendations. I'm sorry, Jason. What's this world ending for? What do you mean? Pranita said, it's morning for me, working graveyard tonight. Okay, okay. Alexander, glad to hear you're doing good. Glad to hear that. Miss La Launch, or Missile Launch. Miss La I love it. I'm gonna keep saying that. Miss La Launch. It's a perfect time for the stream. I've been struggling with self-image and abundance thinking all week, trying to write my first CV for a sales job, and I'm stuck in negative thinking. Hey, we gotta get out of that. We gotta get out of that. Especially like we need that positive abundance energy. As we're writing that CV, because once again, I'm a big believer in energy. And I feel like if we're in a negative space, and even if we write a resume or we write a CV, I feel like that can bleed over into the page. So yes, come on in. Let's get some of this abundance. Let's go. And I totally understand. Like it's easy to get into one of those negative funks. Um, but the good news is it's not real. And we can get up out of it, and we can get it. What will be the opposite of a negative funk? A positive pump. We can get, we can get to a positive pump just as quickly. Yeah, Jason. I think they don't want to give notifications. So I think it's based on, because I saw a video from YouTube a few years back, and they said we don't notify everybody of every video. And what I think it is, every time, every video, every live stream, I think what it is because like some people are subscribed to so many channels that they would be getting nonstop notifications. I think in the beginning they meant, to, hey, if you hit the notification bell, we gonna notify you. And I think maybe this is just me speculating. I think then you started to have people subscribe to so many channels, and it would be nonstop notifications. So I think they were like, okay, we got to get selective on who we send the notifications to. So I think they base it on who they think you're most likely to watch. So if there's a channel and maybe you don't watch a ton of their videos or you don't watch all the videos, um, they were like, okay, we're not going to notify you about Tim's video or Tim's live stream, but this other person who you watch nonstop will notify you about them. So that's what I think it is. Um, but to your point, I feel like they should have like they should make it like, or have a feature of like, I want to be definitely notified about this person, or there's, you know what I mean? There should be some type of, well, or the notification bell. I don't know. Like, why even have the notification bell if you're gonna have to go back in and be like, definitely notify me about this one? I don't know. Like, there has to be a way to fix it. Um, but yeah, it is weird that you can ask to be notified and then they don't notify you. Winter Hike, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, pound it up, pound it up. Let's go, fist bump it up. Thank you so much, Winter Hike. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, Angela, I figured out what day it is. And I was saying earlier, I didn't know what day it was, but if you had grabbed my arm and twisted it and made me say what day it was, I would have said Thursday ish. So when I finally checked my phone and I found that it was Friday, I didn't believe it. I'm like, it is not Friday. I don't know what day it is, but it ain't Friday. But apparently it is. So somehow I lost a day. So- Somehow I lost a day. So yeah, I figured out it was Friday, and I was like, oh, I'm a live stream tonight. But yeah, I genuinely would have swore it was not Friday. Hey, Taisha. I probably said that wrong. Say hey Tim, my husband Steven. Shout out to Steven. Love your content. Keep up the good work. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I definitely will. Thank you. Shout out to you and your husband. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name too wrong. Good to see y'all. Thank you. I'll keep trying to make content for y'all to enjoy. Yeah, Jason. I enjoy live streaming. That definitely helps. And y'all are an awesome audience, very generous audience. So I enjoy streaming. I don't remember Apocalypto Zoo, but that's a cool concept. Character didn't know the concept of fear, was experiencing it. I can see that. If no one ever mentioned it, you know. I'm just lying. Said I don't speak French. Okay. Hey, Winter, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, hey, we all just on this planet trying to figure this thing out. If we all were more supportive of each other, I think we would be a lot closer to the world most of us want. So simply, how you doing? Yeah, agent. I keep hearing that. I don't really want to talk about that. Y'all notice I don't talk. I rarely talk very negative about YouTube. In that aspect of it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If they are doing stuff like that, they not gonna catch me talking about it, because I ain't trying to have them do it to me. So it's Tia. Oh, it's Tia. Okay, there. Okay, got you. Yeah, I see it now. I see that now. Well, you never know. Hard to know. But now that they did the at like before, when like it showed people's actual username, it was a lot easier. Now that it just shows the at name, it's they had their reasons, I'm sure. But yeah, you don't catch me. These other creators, they be out here talking crazy about YouTube. I'm like, they hear you. But it's true. I'm like, I'm just saying, they hear you. You know, y'all should have seen me back in 2020. There's all kind of stuff I wouldn't even think about while I was live streaming. Can we talk about? Nope, nope, nope. They don't want me to talk about it. I'm not talking about it. They're like, what about freedom of speech? You are free to speak about it on your channel. We not talking about it here. Nope, 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 nope. Hey, Freedom Fairy said, loving the positive messages. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that, because we're going to keep them coming. We're going to keep them coming. Yeah, I think they made it the at name shows up in the chat because you can have, like, your actual username is not unique. And I think, but your at name is. So that's a way to differentiate in the chat, like who's who. So I think that's why they did that. But I don't know why they didn't just make usernames unique. But they didn't send me a memo, They didn't send me a questionnaire. I didn't get to vote. Sea Monster, you trying to reinvent your life as a 60-something? Let's go. I think that why ever stop? Every time you get the urge to reinvent, let's go for it. We kind of been taught that that's a negative thing, starting over, reinventing. But why not? Do what you want, Hey, depression, Asia, we got to get you up off that depression bus. Hopefully we helped a little bit. Okay, I see you, Isabella. Use AI to voice a song you put on your channel called Florida Water. Okay, all right. Go check that out. Sea Monsters, I'm with you. I'm a firm believer, for me and for a lot of people. I think being outdoors, being in nature, is helpful. I just don't think we were meant to live our entire life inside these boxes under fake light. Like, I just don't think that's the way the way we thrive. So yeah, I'd be trying to get outside. And I just love, like I was walking today, and I was just like today I actually had to like make myself come inside. I was, like I said, I was out getting those shorts, and I was at a park I like to go to, and well, it's more like a open space than a park. But another friend of mine, I knew she was gonna call me soon, and I was like, man, I probably should go get my lunch, but I had to like make myself get in the car. I wanted to do another lap. I was like, man, I want to stay out here. The weather's great. Like, and I was like, nah, Tim, you got things you got to do. But I was like, man, like, I want to just be out here. So hopefully, like, it's raining today. It's raining right now, but hopefully, tomorrow, I whatever day that'll be, Saturday, I can get out and just be in there. Oh, it's Saturday though. The weekend's everybody out, y'all know. Encoded, I love this. Said, used to think approaching 30 and not being where I was supposed to be meant I was behind, but that's far from the truth. So true, so true, so true. It just bothers me that societal message we get once again of like, you have to figure out where you need to be, and you need to be here. Why? Like, this idea of being behind, and like, behind who? Everybody dies at different ages. Like, like, what does that even mean? Even if there was a set path, like, everybody dies at different ages. Like, it doesn't matter who decided where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing, what you're supposed to have. If you're happy like within yourself. If you're happy about what you're doing or what you've done, that's all that matters, you know. But I do think it takes some age to get to a point where you start to be able to realize, for most of us. Some people seem to get it young. They don't care what people think from, 10. But, a lot of things, I think it takes getting a little older to start to really tap into what we actually want to do. There's a lot of people, 50s, 60s, 70s still don't get it. But like when we start to tap into, okay, what actually brings me joy? What accomplishments do I actually want to accomplish? What accolades will actually mean something to me? What boxes do I want to check? What's actually on my life to-do list? As opposed to like all this other stuff society puts on our to-do list. Or boxes it says we need to check. For what? All this stuff society says we need to be doing, you don't get nothing for it. I ain't doing it. Nope, not doing it. Not doing it. Angela, yeah. Thank you. That new camera, I'm very happy with it. It's a little weird on walk and talks, because like the gimbal, it doesn't have a feature I found that allows me to like play back what I just filmed, and I'll be using it on a walk and talk, and it seems like the gimbal isn't centering me, and that messes with my head. But when I just use it stationary, I love it. Yeah, I love it. Iris said the forest fire smoke finally clearing up here in Eastern Oregon and in Montana too. Yeah, exactly. Feels good to take deep breaths, see the blue sky. That's a good point. Moments. Why don't we have terraces and porches and everything? We got huge yards. We got some of the biggest yards in the world. Other people have gardens. They don't have lawns. But yeah, a lot of times we don't have a terrace or a balcony to sit outside and enjoy it. I'm I'm just lying. Said I'm way behind where I should be. I respectfully, I feel like I'm way behind where I want to be. I feel like that's better. Like who dictates where you should be? That would be my only reply, actually. Who dictates where you should be? And if you say you, then that's where you want to be. And you see, that gives you once again the control, the power. I'm way behind where I want to be in life, but I'm working towards it. Boom. Nobody else enters that equation. But when you say I'm way behind where I should be, you're giving other people the power to dictate where you should be. And I think that's one of the things that gets us so down in life is so much of what we believe about ourselves. Other people told us. ROTC Consulting, thank you. Super Chat Squad, good to see you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the continued support. Thank you so much. Good to see you. I think part of the reason we get so down in life and we're so depressed. RCC said, thank you for what you're doing. You're making a difference. Hey, you are welcome. And thank you for saying that. We allow so many other people to dictate what we think our life should look like. And when it doesn't, we get down and depressed but the more we realize we get to dictate what our life should look like, then I don't need to be down about it, even if I'm not where I want to be, because I can just work on it. If I'm the only one whose opinion matters, and I say, hey Tim, we might need to work on that. We might need to level up on that. Then I just say back, cool, let's work on it. No depression. You know what I mean? No, fine. It's it. It's a simple conversation between myself and myself. Hey, Tim, I think we could do a little better in that regard. Give me a couple months. I'm working on this other stuff right now. I got you. Cool. But society, which by the way is constantly always moving the goalpost. One year they might be like, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. You can't do that. If you believe what society's telling you need to be doing, ain't nobody to tell. It's just you being down on yourself. Oh, I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm gonna work on it. No, no one hears you. You just keep getting that same message. That's what, man. They can't tell me out. I do my thing. If the powers that be said, Tim, give us one element of AI that we need to adhere to, what demand would you suggest? I don't know, Jason. I'm not that versed on AI. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Yeah, yeah. Just line personal preference. Personal preference. I even when I say things, please don't think that I'm ever telling anybody what to do. Um, so if you're like, hey, I'm way further behind than I should be, and that's the way you feel, please feel that way. I just know words are powerful. So I think sometimes we can come to the same conclusion with different words and feel so much better. D Skizzle, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, D Skizzle coming through. Let me give you a like on that. Says your life is a gift to more people than you'll ever know. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being an amazing person. I appreciate that comment. You're welcome, and I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you, like deeply. Thank you. I don't know. Sometimes like a comment will I don't really have words. But thank you, D Skizzle, and I will try to live up to that. Thank you. That moved me. That moved me. We out here. That's. I always come back with something very generic. I'm outside, and then I can, that's my reset. If I can, if like, if like get too much emotion, I'm like, I do this. Okay, that's my reset. It's called a gangster reset. Okay. You're Irish. Your sister told me she doesn't approve of your lifestyle because you're a seasonal worker. It stings, but hey, yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it. And that's part of it too. Is like it. Sometimes people can like say stuff to us, and like even though we're not really worried about it, it does affect us. Like it might sting, it might hurt, but you can just accept the sting and keep doing what you're doing, like, all right, and like, hey, yeah, I kind of wish sis understood what I was doing, but I'm gonna keep doing it, you know. Trader watching from East Africa, Somalia. Okay, nice, 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 nice. You're welcome. Glad you enjoyed the videos. That's one we don't get a lot. We don't get Somalia a lot. International. We international. We out here. 292, exactly. Brain is powerful enough to create fear. Imagine when it creates hope. Exactly. Do I sometimes wish I could have some soft music in the background? No, 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 never. I honestly don't think the thought has ever crossed my mind. I like the sound of my own voice too much. Not joking. All joking aside, no, I've never thought to have music. I'm a simple man. That would take extra work. But yeah, I mean, it's easy to get royalty-free music. It's easy to, which even some of the royalty-free music, there sometimes are restrictions on. You could probably put it in a live stream. There's some restrictions, even with like Epidemic Sounds. I know there are some restrictions for like streaming, maybe. But there's a way to do it. Song request. There's a way to do it. Where like I could have music in the background if I really wanted it, but that's true, Isabella. It said we often say we don't need validation, and that can be true, but validation and reassurance feels great. It's okay to admit that. Facts. Facts. And that's why when we do come across like genuine friends, family, and loved ones, and people who are like on the same path as us, who genuinely care about us, and they get us, it feels amazing when they give us positive feedbacks and reassurance and say, hey, That's awesome. Good job. Boom, boom, boom. I think that's why it's so important to try to find our tribe, try to find our people, try to find some people who get us, because we do need that. We're social creatures. Like, we need that. The problem is just a lot of times the people we're getting the feedback from don't get us. And so we just keep getting like this negative feedback, or people, saying stuff about us. And like, even if we don't believe it, and even if we don't like care, it can bother you, because it's like, well, this is a person I care about, and they're telling me that I'm a loser because I drive Uber. And even though I understand that, like, I'm making decent money on Uber and it's paying all my bills, and I'm probably low key making more money than them some weeks, it still feels weird, you know, to have somebody say that. So somebody call me a loser. It doesn't feel good. But as long as we understand what's true, people have the right to say what they want. But it does help if someone came along and was like, bro, I see what you're doing. You grinding it out, driving them 12-hour days to pay your bills, take care of yours. That's awesome, bro. That feels good, and it's nice to have that. Yeah, I know. Would I ever do ASMR? I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh, AJ, you can hook me up with some music? Okay. I used to watch somebody that played uncopyrighted music in the background, never had issues. Yeah, I could figure it out. I just, I feel like if if people are watching my stream, and a large majority of them are being like, there needs to be music in the background, I'm doing something wrong. I feel like I need to tighten up. I feel like if that's happening, then I'm doing something that the music ain't gonna fix. I'm doing something wrong. The music probably ain't gonna fix. I gotta step my game up. If everybody's sitting here being like, if he had some music, I might stick around. Yeah, I don't know. Iris, I do agree. I do agree. We have to validate ourselves. But there are some you can never replace outside validation, right? So yes, we have to validate ourselves, and people do project all kinds of craziness. But there's it's just like the approval from a parent. Even people with bad parents who they know are bad parents and who have never been there for them still want that. There's some things you can't escape. There's some things you cannot escape. That's why you see people who, like, maybe their dad was never around. And that person might get rich, might get famous. The dad comes around, and people be like, why you even talk to him? But you see that person try to build a relationship. Never knew my dad, never did that for me. But that person will try to build a relationship because that's just something you want, you know? So I think we all just kind of want certain things from outside of us. Um, and it kind of sucks if we don't get it positively. That's why it's great when, we meet people who can give us that honestly and truthfully. Bella said I play your videos as background noise. I get it. I get it. I get it. Not noise. Sonic positivity. I like that. I like that. I'm gonna use that one. I'm saying quite a few people. I've heard people actually use my videos as sonic positivity. I'm gonna use that. I'm using that. I'm using that. What do you do for a living? I create sonic positivity. I'm a sonic positivity creator. It's a very involved science. It has to do with lights, lenses, pins. Okay. Hey, Jazzy. Now listen, I've dozed off to you. It's like having a good friend in the room. This is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. The message can pick you up, or it can put you down. It can wake you up or it can put you to sleep. That would have been better. You should have led with that one too. You should have led with that one. The message can wake you up and it can put you to sleep. That's powerful. That's powerful. The message can wake you up and it can put you to sleep. Oh, I understand. I understand. I fall asleep to Alan Watts all the time. Alan Watts is like my go-to. What I think it is like it gives you something to listen to, but you know, if it's calming enough, you can still fall asleep to it. You know, um, Jason, YouTube has not asked me for any feedback. Every now and then they'll put a survey out there, and I try to answer the surveys. Um, but they here recently they haven't asked me for any feedback. No. Bellum said I fall asleep to the message, wake up to it. Perfect. Just let those videos play. Just let those videos play. Yeah, yes, I know what you meant. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm the same with like Alan Watts. He's my go-to. It's like I'm trying to get to sleep, but I'm not ready to just like not have anything on. I'll put some Alan Watts on, and one of the problems, like I've listened to like all his stuff, and when I do want to listen to Alan Watts and like actually listen to it, I've already heard them all. You know, Alan Watts makes you want to wake up, get your life together. I get it. I get it. He also has a couple of them where like there's one he has. I always forget what talk it is, and he has like a gong or a chime or something, and I'll be falling asleep, and he'll be like, "Life is actually dong," and I wake up, and I'm like, "Oh, this is why I don't listen to this one." He's got actually there's a couple of them that have noises in them, where he hits something, and it always wakes me up. I'll be knocked out, and then I hear that dong, and I'm like, bro, why I keep listening to this one? Delicate Red Rose said, moving on my own for the first time. So scared. Any advice? Um, do it. Go for it. I think after the first couple nights, you'll be fine. You know, this is another example of before it happens, there's endless possibilities of like what could go wrong, right? But after you actually do it, and you've moved out on your own, and you know you've lived alone for a couple nights and nothing bad happens, you get over it. You know, like it's just, yeah, you're gonna be nervous in the beginning because you've never done it, but like once you do it, pretty quickly you get over it, because you'll have other stuff to think about. You know, now you just that's the big thing in front of you, so you're worried, oh, what about? But like once you're actually doing it, you'll actually have other stuff to think about, and you won't even be thinking about that as much, and like as time passes, that feeling dissipates. Because now, all you know, you just think about all the things that might happen, and you don't have anything positive coming in, right? But like once you move out on your own, you know, every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month that nothing bad happens is lets you be like, oh, this is fine. Right now, you don't have that because you're not doing it. So yeah, the more you live alone, the less you worry about living alone. But it's good. You know, you're supposed to be nervous in the beginning. But good luck. But hey, I wouldn't be worried about it. You'll be fine. In another life, I'd be a preacher in a good way. I can see it. I can see that. I can see that. I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that. Yeah, yeah, 75. Yeah, 1975. Yeah, they have a lot of AI Alan Watts out there now, which is the height of disrespect to me. I only listen to the ones from what is it, AlanWatts.org, which I think is his family runs. So I only let me get a little water. I only listen to the Alan Watts from that channel, or Alan Watts speeches that have been uploaded 5+ years ago, you know, because they didn't have the AI capability then. So if it was uploaded 10 years ago, I'll listen to it because I'm like, I know this ain't AI. But anything within the past 3 years or so, I'm like, I don't trust it. But like I've heard, I think there was one day that got me. Penelope, how you doing? There was one day that I was listening to. I just like clicked on one, um, and I'm listening, and I was like, it was a good fake. And I'm like, wait a second. Like Alan Watts would never say that. That's what actually I caught it. It wasn't like the audio was weird or it sounded just like him. And then once again, when you've listened to Alan Watts for years, you kind of know, what he would say or what he's gonna say. And he said something, and I was like, he wouldn't say that. And so I looked and I was like, oh, this was uploaded last year. Nope, 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 nope. Yeah, I mean, they can make it now. They can make it sound exactly like the person. They can make it sound exactly like the person. So you can't the voice these days you can't differentiate. But the message sometimes you can be like, wait a second. I don't know if Oprah would say that. you know. Haley, ex Haley, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. So, any advice on starting a new job when you feel imposter syndrome? I'm doubting my place here, and it's getting to me. Trying to stay positive. So, you're already at the job, working the job, and you're doubting your place there? Okay, if I'm reading that right. Here's the thing. Even if you don't feel like you belong there, they still got to pay you. So, I would just keep showing up, doing the job, getting my paycheck, right? And if they never say anything, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing too. Like if you're showing up, doing the job, and they're happy about it, and no one's saying anything, it doesn't matter how you feel about the job or how you feel about you. They still got to pay you, and that's why you're there for the paycheck. Um, so I would just keep showing up, doing the job, and if no one says anything, you know, even if you never feel like you belong there, does it matter if they like you? If they like your work and you're getting paid, it might suck a little bit, but like if you're the only person who has an issue, great. You know what I mean? Like great. Now, I would imagine over time, um, you'll start to believe in yourself. You start to understand, like, okay, I can do this. And I think ultimately that's what it would probably be. Is even if you come into it, and I totally understand this. I've had jobs like that before. I was like, well, I don't think I'm qualified for this. But over time, I don't think you have to convince yourself to believe in yourself. I just think once you've done the job enough, you'll see that you can do it. Right? Like if you're just like, okay, hey, I don't think I can do this job, but I'm showing up and they ain't fired me yet. I think eventually you'll realize like, okay, I can do this job. Um, I do belong here. But yeah, in the beginning, if you don't feel that way, you don't feel that way. And I don't think you can make yourself feel that way. I just think you have to just keep showing up doing the job. And then eventually enough time passes where you're like, I got this. What was I worried about? You know? But yeah, like I said, no harm, no foul. If it's only you who feels that way now, you know what I mean? I feel like oh, okay. Kashif, what up? So before YouTube started to pay dividends and supplementing your income, what would you do when your seasonal job was over? I used to go back home. I used to go back home. My ex girlfriend in those early years was kind enough that like she was like, hey, whenever you want to come stay with me, you can. So I would go back home, um, probably stay with her for a month or two, about a month. My buddy Ray, sometimes I'll go stay with him. Um, and back then, I also kind of I feel like the time between jobs was a lot closer. So maybe I just had a month or on the or 2 months, and I would just save enough money that I could take care of myself. So sometimes a couple times I went home and just stayed in hotels, Did maybe a little traveling around, and I just stayed in hotels. But I would just save up enough money, um, and then I would, make sure there was only so much time between jobs, and yeah, I would just pay, survive out of my savings, and then go to my next job. And I will say this though, and this is kind of going off It's Bellum's comment. You might find yourself in a situation where, and it may not even be imposter syndrome. You just might not fit in. You know what I mean? You might go to a job and you're just like, man, this just ain't me. And it may not be because you're less than, or it just might be you just don't fit in. And so, if you're like, hey, I could, you know, probably figure this out, but it's just not my vibe. And if you decide to go somewhere else, that's cool too. It's not a negative thing. You just might not fit in. Like, this ain't just ain't me. Like, I don't rock with these people. You know, it's not always. I think we're quick to make it a negative on our part. I see that a lot. Like, we go through things in life, and I'm the same way. We immediately make it a negative on our part. I need to fix this. There's something wrong with me. No, sometimes it's not you're getting bad vibes. You know what I mean? Or it just might not be the type of people you want to work around. You didn't do anything wrong. It just, sometimes the job might be a little more than you've ever done. You might legitimately have good reason to be like, I don't know if I can do this. But that doesn't mean like there's anything wrong with you. You just, all right, let me try. Or you might be like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go somewhere else. I think society has taught us that in every single situation, it's always something wrong with us. When most of us is actually cool. You know what I mean? Like, most of us, especially like people who watch live streams like this, or watch like the type of videos I put out. Most of us, we've been working on ourselves, you know, or we're in the process. We're doing okay. We decent people. But society just wants us to think at every single turn, if there's an issue or we feel any type of way, it's something wrong with us. You need to fix that. You need to do this. You need to sometimes just we're decent people. We're amazing. We're abundant. Let's go. Hey, Brooke, you're welcome. You're welcome. Glad to hear that. Jack said, just joined. I was so looking forward to surf and sand in October. Staying focused, reminding myself of my good fortune and resources, and rest will get me out of this transitory funk. Yes, 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 yes. Hey, hang in there, Jack. Hey, October's coming up soon. Yeah, and we get in funks, you know. And I think I know for me something you're in a funk, and like, you're in a funk, but knowing that it will pass, and especially if you got something to work towards, I think that's really, you just have to get through the funk. Eventually the funk's gonna pass, and a lot of times there's maybe not sometimes some funks. I think there's more things we can do to speed up getting out of it. Sometimes not, but at the end of the day, I think our job is to just get through it. Say, okay, I'm in a funk right now. This will not last forever. I just got to keep my head up enough to get through this. AB, you don't have much hope for the future of this country? I look at humanity as a whole. I'm very optimistic about humanity. I think we'll make it. I think 100 years from now, America will still be here. Do we have some things we could fix? Yeah. And I think eventually we'll fix them. Could we possibly be going through some tough times for the next few decades? Possibly. But I just, if you look around the world, you see lots of countries that at different times went through different struggles, especially when those countries were the world power for a while. If you study history, you'll notice that. Look at Rome, you know. So we got some things we got to tighten up, but I don't think that like the country's gonna end or anything like that. You know, David, I personally think that when I die, the energy that animates this body just goes somewhere else. You know, that's what I think. GTA, you got to bring home a new model Tesla every week. What? I'd have kept that job. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. AB, we could sit around all day and discuss the issues with this country, but I mean, I don't know. And not saying I'm right. You could totally be right. Um, but here's my thing. We have had greater inequality and division in the past. This is me and my dad talk about this a lot. We have had greater inequality and division in the past. Our country has actually gotten a lot better. And even like, people's lifetime is still alive. There have been major changes to make the inequality and division much better. So if I'm looking at America as a whole, its entire history, this is one of the best times. So, I think it's easy to fall into the trap of like, we've had problems and we still have problems. It's never going to be fixed. But if you really look at history, it's like better than it's ever been. You know, is there still equality? Yes, but go back to 1803. You know what I mean? So sometimes when we're just super pessimistic, I think it's good to pull back. In the micro, things always seem crazy, but if you pull back in the macro and you say, a lot of the equalities we have now, we didn't have 50, 60, 70, 100 years ago. So is there really that much inequality and division? Or is there a lessened amount of inequality and division that we have to work on that we've demonstrated over the past 250 years that we can work on? Asking, like, and those are the type of things I think about, and uh, truly blessed that like I said, I get to have these conversations with my father because like he was born in the deep South. Just use an example. He was born in the deep South. You know, back when before a lot of some of these changes take place. So like to him, it's amazing. You know what I mean? Like when he looks at America now, he's like, bro, and of course, like he's a very intelligent man. So like we have conversations about some of the things that still need to be fixed. But you know, when I talk with him, it allows me to see like, oh man, we've been killing it because there's countries around the world that still more unequal than us. And that's why I enjoy being able to talk with people from different age groups, different countries, different regions of the country. If we just if most of the people we discuss things with are people just like us, or if we get all our talking points from television, which is a very tightly curated message, then we start to see the world a certain way. Um, but I think the more influences we bring in that are different than us, the more voices we listen to, the more we start to see a better picture maybe of what's going on. Though I will admit we still have some things the problems to solve. Yes, but we working, we working. I still love America. You know, Ruben. I now for I will say that for people who've always wanted to be married and always wanted to have kids, what they might give up in certain freedoms is worth it to them. So if you're if you have an amazing marriage and you love your kids, you may not want the freedom I have. You know what I mean? So I can't fault the people who purposely, of their own volition, like decide to get married, have kids. But I do think there are a lot of people that feel like that's what they're supposed to do, so they do it, and then yeah, you wonder why they have a midlife crisis, as some people like to call it, later in life. Is because yeah, they never got a chance to do a lot of the stuff they wanted to do because they were told that if you're not married by 23, it's a problem. You know. How do I deal with terrible bosses at seasonal jobs? I usually just quit Dynamic if I'm being real. Yeah, AB, that cable news is crazy. Yeah, if I have a terrible boss at a seasonal job, I usually just quit Dynamic. I'll go get another one. You know. And Bellum, I kind of like the fact that that the world is changing. Like all the things you mentioned, all those new eras you mentioned. Some people got like fabulously wealthy because the times change. You know, and the instance we're talking about, it doesn't have to be, financial wealth, though it can be. But it's just like there were some people who before the gold rush were dirt poor. Gold rush came along, they're millionaires. You know what I mean? So like when times change, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity, and we're seeing some changes now, and I think that there's opportunity to improve our life in these changes that previously maybe weren't there. I've only Victory. I've only worked for Xanterra. I don't have a problem with Xanterra. Once again, though, I do understand that a lot of it's location based. A lot of it has to do with who your managers are. But I have nothing bad to say about Xanterra when I work for them. Yeah, Jason, I've featured people in videos before. Um, Said curious why a real life example with consent wouldn't be a thing you'd introduce from time to time. Jason, honestly, it's kind of hard to find people to put in videos. Is one. And no shade back, but I don't know if it's really worth it to me. Like I don't want to. Like you know what I mean? Respectfully. Like I don't. There's a lot of things I could do, but like, and in the past when I put people in my videos, it was my friends, and I wanted to put them in the video. Um, but I don't feel a lot of them are privated now, so you might not find a lot of them. But yeah, I don't feel the need to put other people in my videos, and that's the thing you realize like when you make content, there's a million things you could do, um, and there's a million things people ask you to do. But like I know for me, it comes down to like what do I want to do, and it's kind of a like my buddy Mike. I told him like next time I see him, if we get a chance, I want to do another video with him. But it's not as easy as you might think, and it's a lot easier for me to turn the camera on and do a walk and talk than it is to get up with somebody, set everything up. So yeah, yeah. Gen Alpha and Gen Z, they ain't sold on the American dream. Delano, what up? Good to see you. You think if we went back analog, our mental health would improve dramatically? Possibly, maybe. Mr. Jet, A, I'm just a really good worker. I'm just really good, first and foremost. Let's get that out there. I've worked hard. Um, I don't know. I'm just as curious as everyone else as to why. Yeah, the and there are some good workers out there still, but it just seems like in general. Now, keep in mind the work I do too. I don't think most people want to do it. So I think that is part of it. Working in hospitality, working in hotels. Most people who do hotel housekeeping don't want to do it. So I think the numbers are going to be skewed. You know what I mean? Like if you were to take just the average person working these days and how many of them just like don't care. I think you're going to have a lot more in the field I previously worked in than other places because like nobody wants to be there. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. Even having said that, I could just tell it's changed over the last few years. Like I don't understand it. Give me 1 second, folks. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. I'm bad about that. I'll sit and I've been needing to use the little boys' room for about 30 minutes. That's from me and Bobby McGee, right? That's a line from me and Bobby McGee. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. That's a bar, but that's we've heard it. That's Janis Joplin. Actually, that's who wrote that? Dang it, Chris Christopherson. That's Chris Christopherson. I'm pretty sure he wrote me and Bobby McGee. They see they don't. I'm well versed. Right? I mean, come on now. They try to hit me. What does freedom mean to me? The ability to make choices in my life based on what I want to do. The ability to make the majority of choices in my life and decisions in my life based on what I want to do. That's freedom. That's freedom to me. Yeah. Karen, I don't really do favorites. I go to Big Sky, Montana a lot. I was there last summer. Um, Estes Park, Colorado. I think I've been there 5 times. So those are two places that yeah, I definitely would. I recommend those. Yeah, yeah. I'd stopped for a while, but I would recommend. Yeah, but Colorado's a state that has a ton of seasonal work. So, and Montana has a lot too. So I'll recommend. I would say hop on CoolWorks and check out those two states. But yeah, Big Sky is you know Big Sky is a vibe. Like I every time I go back to Big Sky, I enjoy being there. And I love the fact that there's a lot of money there, a lot of high net worth individuals. So I get to be around a different vibe, a different ambiance, a different mindset than I would be able to afford to be around currently at my own, money level. So it does allow me to see the world a little different, you know. Last summer I don't think I ever heard, maybe some of the people I work with, but ain't nobody talking about how bad the economy is. That's kind of a vibe. I like that. When I'm up in Big Sky, nobody's talking about how bad the economy is, the job market. Nobody's talking about none of that. Jobs everywhere, money everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? So like it allows, like sometimes if all you hear is one thing, you really start to double down on it. But I'm walking around and I'm like, you hear in opposite conversations. What are you invested in? What are you blah blah blah? Oh, I'm about to go buy this Bentley. You know what I mean? Like, oh, but about to buy another condo. You know what I mean? You hear different conversations. And you start to see, I think that has helped to shape my worldview too. I'm like, everybody ain't broke, and it's not just, oh, a couple people here or there. Oh, that person, was a trust fund. But nah, these people up here grinding and working, they up. And a lot of them are awesome people. They're nice people. Some of them are greedy, money grubbing people, but like a lot of them, nice people. I clean the rooms. They invite me in. They show me Christmas pictures. They give me good tips. These good people. And they got money. So obviously it's possible. Somebody doing it. And I'll be honest with you, all of them were the smartest people. So, I think one of the reasons I like traveling and working and being in different places is because of that. I get to be like, put into different areas where I would never be, where people look at the world different. Like, they looking for opportunity. Not sitting around talking about how bad everything is. They looking for new opportunity. You know, I appreciate that. They keep saying your 40s are prime earning years and don't quit your job. I mean, Miss Priya, I think that is true for people who are trying to live their life a certain way. If you're trying to follow that blueprint, sure. Um, and if you're worried about quitting your job, you don't quit. I'm Mr. Quit Your Job, but I'm always saying, like, I'm not saying people need to quit their job. I'm saying, like, if the job's too toxic or so many other things going on that go on at work, leave that one and find another one. But you don't have to, you know. And for some people, yes. If you're following a certain blueprint or game plan and it involves you staying at your job, stay. Like, you know. I'm kind of talking to the people who were following our own blueprint or kind of maybe look at life a little different. But yeah, I mean, that's sound advice for people who live a certain life, I think. Yeah, yeah. Colorado's a really cool state. Colorado's a really cool state. And eight, Colorado is a lot more expensive than a lot of other states, but um, it, it they pay decent in Colorado too, though. So Jason, I don't think I've ever been offered which I appreciate you saying that. No one's ever offered me anything like that because, like, I've never put out there. I think that that's something I would want to do. Um, you know, I'm the one in there scrubbing them toilets. But yeah, I've never put out an intention to anybody that I want to do that. Yeah, these young kids will quit a job quick. And I think part of that too is because, like, they haven't been brought up with the idea of, like, oh, work for a job for 60 years and retire. Like, they know, even if this job goes well, I'm gonna want to leave in 10 years or I'm gonna get laid off. So the kids now go into it not with no, they like, this company's not loyal to me. I ain't gotta be loyal to them. I'm here. When I'm here, I'll do my job. Then when it's time to go, I'll go. I'll just go right across the street, work for them for 2 years. So like, it's a different mindset. And that's kind of what I was talking about video yesterday. Like, work has changed. It's not the same. But yet, especially like people my age, we're still holding on to some of this older stuff. And I think even we decide to stay and work until 67 or 70, I think it's important to, like, understand what's going on these days, because it is different. That's true. That is true, agent. I've learned that. It's all about who you know. It's all about who you know. If I had kids, I would, and I had the financial abundance to do it, I would save some money for them to go to college. And then when they, graduate high school, I say, hey, here's the money I got for you. If you want to continue your education, cool. Or you can take that same money and travel the world for 2 years and meet people. I'm happy either way. You're not getting any more money from me, by the way. But like, I'm happy either way. And I promise you, I feel like the second option, they would end up better in life. If they just traveled the world and met people, when they was ready to come back home, I firmly believe they would have made so many connections that would benefit them way more than a piece of paper, depending on what they want to do. But if they're a kid of mine, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be trying to, I think so. Ruben, that's a good point. The incentive is gone too. Yeah, like what? Like you can only dangle a carrot in front of somebody. Like if you're gonna dangle a carrot, it has to be a big enough carrot that I care. Carrot, care. You know what I mean? If you're gonna dangle a prize in front of me and make me exert myself, it's got to be something I want. And in the past, it was house, car, raise a family, take vacations, decent health care, pension when you're done. I'll work for you for 50 years for that. Now you don't get none of that. you know? In Norway, they mostly work gig work, part-time job. That's coming here too. What kind of service would I offer with the business I mentioned building? What business did I mention building? Um, for me, I just want to do oh, you mean like a content creation business? Um, Obviously videos. I want to write a book, and I'd like to do public speaking, even though I don't know if that's technically content creation. But that is three things. Like I want to continue doing videos, um, want to start writing, and I would like to get into public speaking. Um, for me, it's the format in which I'm gonna present the content. Um, like I said, YouTube's starting to do some weird stuff, so I think it's wise to, while still maintaining a presence on YouTube, maybe look for other areas, and then figure out exactly like what content people want, the format they want it in, and then find a way to present that to them. Yeah. And I'm somewhere in there. I'm not opposed to doing some one-on-one calls down the line if that's something that people ever were interested in. It's always who you meet, not what you meet. I tell you, it's who. But I mean, honestly, a lot of people who go to college, they go to meet people. A lot of people like they say people don't you don't go to Ivy League schools for the education. You go to Ivy League school for the connections. You're basically paying for the connections because no, they're not worried about your grades. You meet people there, and those people help you throughout life. Like that's. If an older millennial didn't want to have kids today, would you say that is a wise decision? In the '90s, I felt like everybody was having 3 or 4 kids. AB, I don't want kids. Never wanted them. Not gonna have them. I don't look at it as a wise or unwise decision. I look at it as if you don't want to have kids, don't have kids. Like it doesn't matter who decides whether it's wise or not. Like how would like I don't want to have them, so I don't have them. That's the way I would look at it. If someone asked me that, I'd just be like, "Do you want to have kids?" And if they was like, "No," I'd be like, "Don't have them." Facts. In the past, you could live a decent life on one job. ROTC, I could do that. I could take the transcript from my videos and put it in AI and start a book. However, I don't want to do that. When I write a book, I want it to be 100%. Either it's going to be me talking, and then I'm either going to actually type it or I'm going to talk it, but I want it to be 100% new content. I don't want to rehash old stuff and just make a book. I want to actually write the book. I want it to be stuff I'm thinking of, right now. Um, so yeah, there's lots of ways I could come up with the book, but if and I've said this for a while when people ask me about writing a book, I don't want to just have a book. I want to write it. So yeah, that's a way to do it, but I don't think it'd be the way I would do it. Yeah. Yeah, Miss Priya, they say a lot of things. They say after 50 it's hard to get hired to keep their job. I mean, yeah, and honest, that might be true. Here's the thing too, though. You can go through life with this might happen, so I'm gonna follow the rules and toe the line. Anything they come up with and say, hey, data has shown that after 50 it's harder to get a job. And you can interpret that, I better keep my job because after 50, because I'm 49 and after 50 it's harder to get a job. Or you can interpret that they said it's harder to get a job, not impossible. That means people are still getting a job after 50. Why wouldn't I be one of the people who got one? This is the way I look at stuff. Whenever people are like, oh, I'm like, oh, so you're saying there's still a chance. It's harder to get a job after 50. So you're saying it's still possible. So why wouldn't I be one of the ones who get one? Not to mention, I'm a big believer in creating your reality. All these studies and stuff that they talk about, they ain't got nothing to do with me. If I'm 53 and I need a job, I got to figure something out. I'm not going to stay at a job I don't like because I'm 47 and they say once I get to 50, I can't find another one. No. And if that means I got to eat ramen for a few months, and I don't mind the struggle. Like, I don't want to struggle, but I don't mind the thought of maybe having to struggle and grind through it if I'm doing what I want to do. That's what they want you to be so afraid that you do what they tell you to do. We don't want y'all hopping jobs or jumping jobs, so we gonna keep telling y'all how hard it is to get another job. The news never cared about over 50 people before. All of a sudden, they're very concerned that once you turn 50, you won't be able to find a job. You got to peel back the layers behind these news stories. Certain stuff, they don't care. They never talk about it. They don't care what happens to people over 50, over 60. They don't talk about all this stuff that happens. But they're very concerned about whether you'll be able to find a job. You ever notice this? That's because they're trying to get you to stay at the job. I'm a firm believer we get to create our own reality. They can say what they want. That don't mean it's going to be true for me. If I'm trying to work, I only need one job. It don't matter. You know what I mean? I only need one job. I don't need a great job market. I don't need everybody to be hiring 55-year-olds. I just need, if I'm looking for a job and I'm 55, I need one company to be like, you're the man for the job. I think I can make that happen. So that's just the way I look at things. Am I a naive, delusional dreamer? Possibly. But it's worked so far. You know? Hey, John Doe, I appreciate you saying that. What if I took the chat to get chicken wings right now? There's not a good chicken wing spot where I'm at. One day, honestly, where I'm at currently, I don't get the best phone signal. I would love to one day um, have such a strong streaming signal that I could go around and do like IRL stuff and like, just I just take y'all around all day and we just hang out. I would love to do that. I want to do that one day. Miss Priya, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I would, and there's a way to do that. But yeah, one day I would love to do that. We just, maybe not every day, but hey, it's Wednesday. Y'all know what that means. Y'all hanging out with your boy all day long, and we just go around and do stuff. I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be a vibe. AB, hey, that's what we're here for. You're right. Most people, it's surface level conversation. They're just regurgitating back what they heard on the news or someone else said. Like, people ain't taking the time to have the deep discussions. People aren't taking the time to try to uplift each other, upbuild each other. We just try to tear everybody down, talk about the negative stuff. Yeah, John, I might do that. Like, I would, because there's a lot of times I'm riffing and I'm coming up with really good stuff. Um, and by the time I go to like write it down, or I've lost it. So that probably is one way I would write the book, is I would have a recorder speak it and have it transcribed, but all new material. I feel like I missed. What was I? Any jobs out there I think I would actually enjoy? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so. There's so many jobs out there that I don't even know about, don't even know as a job, that I would probably enjoy. Like I said, a couple summers ago, I drove the employee shuttle at the YMCA. Loved it, and they let me go around and deliver. I helped the general manager's assistant. So they let me go around and deliver gift baskets to people, and there's just a lot of little stuff. It was a great job, great job. Didn't pay much, but it was a cool job. So like, there's things that I would like. Here's the thing too. Like, I don't mind working. If I came across a job that paid well and it was something I like doing, I don't mind. But it's hard to find that combination. Do I stop to give this kind of love and support to strangers in my passing? No, no. I have been working on smiling um, more, but I realize it's funny. I got a friend of mine, my buddy Cyan. I mentioned him earlier. Um, Me and him actually did several videos together on this channel. Cyan is a very in-person person. When we worked at the YMCA of the Rockies, he was a mentor to so many people. The younger kids, they come talk to him in person. Cyan's like, he's one of the best listeners I know. Whenever we're roommates, he spends way more time listening to me than anything else, right? He's a very in-person motivator, encourager. That's his thing. I do it okay online, and we've talked about that. And I realized, I my gift is doing it online. I can sit in front of these phones and these cameras and these lights, and let's get to it. Not so much in real life. Like my very close friends, yeah, we talk, but like I'm just not a in person. Yeah, it's just not my gift. Oh, I'm way behind in the chat here. Okay, where we at? Yeah, hey, Gino, that's true. That rat race will get to you. Starfish, I would love to go to Bali. Bali's on the list. Bali's on the list. So yeah. And still, that's so many people I've heard that from. I'm only at my current job for the health insurance. It's crazy we have created a system where that is true for so many people. The only reason they're there is for the health insurance. Like, if I lose this job and something happened to me, I don't know. And trust me, like, I get it. You know, I get it. I appreciated, working for a year or so, the past year or so, because I had health insurance. I'm just one of those weird people that like I'm willing to take the risk. And it's easier for me. I'm single. I'm a pretty healthy dude. Um, yeah, I'll take the risk, but I totally understand the opposite. And I'm not it. And people always say that. So what happens if you don't have health insurance and something happens? Then it just happens, and y'all get the right to be like, we told you it was a bad idea to quit your job. Doopy, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Doopy drop music coming through. Thank you so much. I appreciate the love. Good to see you, and I appreciate the support. Thank you so much. There's no guarantees if you quit a job, no health insurance, that it's always going to work out. That is not going to come back to bite you. So I get staying at your job for the health insurance. I just hate that, like, that's the world we live in. You know. Jennifer, how you doing? Yeah, getting rid of the negative people in your life is definitely a positive. Crowd health, Savannah. I don't know if I know about that. I'll have to look into that. Actually, I'm gonna write that down. Crowd health. Thank you for that. I'll look into that. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Yeah, Winter, this has been an amazing chat. AB, yeah, I think, yeah, you got, yeah, you're right. You gotta be a little weird. You gotta be doing something a little different these days. But yesterday's weird becomes tomorrow's normal, or today's weird, excuse me, becomes tomorrow's normal. It's funny, even things like van life. I got videos from years ago where I was like, I really think this van life thing is going to become mainstream. Back when like nobody was like talking about it, or very few people was talking about it. I was like, I really think this van life thing is going to become mainstream. A, because I think more and more people are going to want to do it to save money, and B, because I think more and more people, sadly, are going to have to do it. Fast forward now, if you say you want to live in a van, I mean, you might get a reaction from some people, but most people are like, oh yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. Back then it was insane. Now people are like, makes sense. Some people are like, I would never do it, but it makes sense. Like today's weird is tomorrow's normal. So, I think we're ahead of the curve. I said back then, I was like, car dwellers and van dwellers, you know, they kind of ahead of the curve. Minimalist, they're ahead of the curve. You know, we're the time's gonna come when you ain't gonna be able to afford all this stuff. I said this years ago. I'm gonna start pulling up old videos and showing that I said this stuff. Well, now then, people saying it. Oh, you gotta live below your means. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. So a lot of the stuff I think we're contemplating now. 10 years from now, everybody's gonna be like, of course you, of course you do that. Why wouldn't you? Cause I don't know if I have any hobbies or interests that I like that people wouldn't guess because I tell everything. I think if I didn't talk about it so much, people might not know that I love the WNBA. But yeah, do I speak with family and friends often? Yeah, yeah. Well, I talk to my dad. He's the family I really speak to. But yeah, I literally today talked with two of my friends. So yeah, I talk to my friends a lot. Yeah. People say if you love your job, it doesn't feel like a job. Um, there have been jobs like that one I mentioned that I honestly couldn't believe they were paying me to do that. So I get that. I'm like, man, they pay me to just drive these kids down to Fort Collins and hang out and drive them back, take them to the grocery store. So yeah, I do think it is possible to have a job that doesn't feel like work. Dividend. You said, what country do you think you would spend a full year in outside the U.S.? Currently, I haven't been to a country outside the U.S. and nothing against the countries, but previously I always started to want to come back home. You know, um, and I hope that changes because I would love to start spending more time outside the U.S. But I couldn't. Like I said, it wasn't. For example, like I love going to Thailand. Like, but every time I've been there, when it was time to come home, I'm like, all right, ready to go home. I would love for that to change and me being like, I'm gonna spend. Well, you can't spend a year in Thailand. Like, I don't want to do the visas and all that. But I would love to be like, all right, I'm gonna go there for 30 days. And I'm gonna go to this other country and come. Or to some of the countries that you can go to for 3 months or a year or whatever. Like I said, I ain't trying to do the visas, but in too in depth. But yeah, I'm hoping in future I'll find myself in places outside the U.S. and I'm like, okay, I could be here for a while. This could be like another home base for me. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna jump off. I'm in this Airbnb. It's getting later. I don't want to be talking too loud for too long. We've been going a little over 3 hours, so I think that's a good stream. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. This has been amazing. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are abundant. Big shout out to Angela, the world's best moderator. Big shout out to the Super Chat squad. Thank y'all for the support, the love, the abundance. It definitely helps your boy to continue to be able to do what he loves to do. So thank y'all. Thank you for the questions, the comments, the love, the energy. For please, if you're so inclined, could you put up some prayers for Praveen and his family, the things they're going through. Thank y'all so much for being here with your boy. I love y'all. Y'all mean so much to me. We'll talk again soon.